Thank you very much, Neil. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade during the midday. That is your boy, Joey.
Oh, I don't even have YouTube up, man.
Hey, I know, you don't even have
Yeah,
Joe, sit,
man.
bro. Come on now. All right, we're going to wait for everyone to weasel on this. Shout out to the OG Darwin. Shout out to the small cap gapper trader extraordinaire, Scott H. Adara in the house as well. Shout out to Havana, Woody, and Cairo. Sixto V and Stock Up. Shout out to Andrew Chow and the world's greatest dang mod. That is you, Bears versus Dang Bull. Shout out to you, Daniel Vargas, Mark Susi, Sebastian. We got Bristol. We got Billy Bezos. No affiliation with Jeff Bezos, of course. We got John, and then I can't read his last name. T-Money. What's up, yo? LFG. Right back at you, baby. We got Random Samaritan. We got Daddy Gator and Soccer Shop Club Healing Wholeness as well. Join us, as well as Phil Rich, Borahout, and John. Looks like an Italian last name that I will not be able to pronounce. Yoko's a liar. Shout out to him as well. We got Donkey Trader. And we got Dino. We got Julie Beckwith, as well as Zachary and James. Who else? We got Adam Mills, nephew with a capital dang P. Shout out back to you. Good morning, Joseph. How are you, bro?
I'm good, brother. How was your New Year's?
It was good, man. It was, it was tame.
Yeah,
The house party was sick. Didn't get too,
Nice.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Yourself?
Yeah, hey, man, we had a dry New Year's, actually, so no drinks, but we cooked up a hella storm of lasagna. I made a mean lasagna, so I'm looking for...
You looking over? He's like,
and a lot of cheese. I made it too big, to be honest with you. I put, but again, we're gonna eat it up, so we're enjoying that. And it's funny, my girlfriend is already texting me this morning. She said, it's 11 a.m. It's okay to eat lasagna, right?
Bro.
She hit the gym already, working from home.
There you go.
There you go. She's gonna get it, yeah.
She's putting in the work.
She's putting in the work, and she gets the reward of the lasagna. So yeah, we'll be looking forward to having that today. But guys, we got a lesson. We're gonna go back on the Greeks, but Sharif, is there anything you would like to touch on?
I'm just gonna show the gaps. I'm gonna show them super quick here. The 8 we're looking at, Joseph won already. APM no longer tradable under my system, halted to the downside. But NITO looking awfully good. A light 223% on the day coming into VWAP. We'll see if it holds up there. ICG breaking down below VWAP. Looks like it's also halted. So a couple of halters to the downside. You got SPCB doing its absolute most to try to break that $10 area. It's up 91% as well. CGBS. This one is kind of BSing below the volume weighted average price. It's going to have to reclaim that like 94 penny level for me to get interested. But you already saw the Katina Man on Rigetti, RGTI. It's having all sorts of trouble with 17, but it is putting in higher lows and well, not necessarily higher highs, but certainly higher lows. And last but certainly not least, NRXP and QSI being obviously a quantum trade, up a nice 23%. Those are the 8 I'm looking at. If I see any more, let you know in a hot second. Joseph, what are we learning today, baby?
Yeah, we're going to hop on the Greek, Sharif. We didn't finish the lesson last week, so we're going to do the latter half of that. We'll jump into a little bit of what we did last week as well, too. And then we're going to get into Vega, because I think that's important for today's lesson, especially with what's going on with Tesla. And then we're going to get into a little bit of row here, folks. So let's dive right in here. We're going to, let's zoom out here. Okay, so yeah, let's start right back at theta here, guys. And we talk about theta, and I think this is such a key factor for options traders, whether you're buying or selling. Theta is such an important underlying metric in options trading, and I think it's really undervalued, and people need to really understand theta and how time decay affects your options contracts. All right, guys? So again, just touching back, theta is a Greek metric that represents time decay in contract values, okay? So when I refer to extrinsic value, meaning time value, this is kind of correlated to that as well too, all right? So keep that in mind. So for an example, if stock XYZ is $100 and its 105 call is $1 with a theta of negative 0.2, the options contract value will decrease $20 per day, all right? So just keep in mind, theta will always be negative as well too, okay? So moving forward, while theta works in favor of option sellers, theta works against option buyers, okay? So one thing I really want to touch on with theta is that when people buy out the money calls or puts, you need that contract to exceed in value relatively quick. Otherwise, if you don't get that volatility spike to step in, then theta day by day is going to diminish the value of those contracts. And then eventually, once that contract starts to trade in the money and your moneyness, and you now have some intrinsic value, right? You now are like, okay, well, why am I not profitable? Well, it took too long for the underlying asset to move in your favor, and then theta diminished the value of those contracts, okay? So when you're buying out the money, expect a rapid move quickly, and if you don't get that move, it's always good to just reassess the situation and say, okay, am I a little too early? Or what can I do here to kind of just mitigate these, I wouldn't say necessarily losses, but how can I maximize potential profit on that front? So just really, really keep that in mind, okay, folks? So this is just theta here. As you can see, we went over this briefly last week, but again, you just keep in mind, this is how much the contract's value is going to decay per day if it stays at this price. So again, $17, you got to times this by 100, times this by 100, and times all these by 100, okay? So that is theta, folks. And also, if you have any questions, just please be sure to put them in the chat, and I'll do the best that I can to answer them. All right, so now moving on to Vega and implied volatility. These kind of go hand in hand. So Vega is a measure of volatility. Historical or HV or historical volatility is an actual measure of the stock's past price movement, okay? So that's a key metric as well too. IV or implied volatility is a measure of the stock's potential future price movement. So when I just mentioned before is that when you're buying out the money calls or you're buying straddles, you need the implied volatility to step in relatively quick and fast and fierce, okay? So when you're playing a straddle, you need the IV to step in really fast. If you're playing a straddle on earnings, you need it to step in during that day, and then you need to exceed the expected move, okay, in order for that contract combination to be profitable, okay? So, for example, a Vega of 0.2 means the options price will change by $20 for every 1% change in volatility. Higher volatility increases the value of options as it implies a greater likelihood of the options ending in the money. Okay, so now this is really key, okay? And it took me a little while to understand this and learn this, is that when you are buying options with increased volatility, that is not necessarily the best thing. You want to buy options when volatility is low, and then you get that increase in implied volatility. Why? Because that means the options contracts are going to fluctuate more when implied volatility picks up. Okay? So we'll touch a little bit more on this because I got a key point that I want to touch on as well too. But first, we got to do an ad read.
Oh yes, absolutely, right, Joseph. Okay, we're going to tell them about trade ideas, guys. Kick off 2025 with a massive savings from Trade Ideas. Right now, exclusive to Trader TV viewers, you get 25% off any subscription with code TraderTV25. TraderTV25. It's go big or go home, baby. With another possible 30% off the premium annual plan using TTV PREM30. So to get 30% off the premium annual plan, you're going to use code TTV PREM30. Both codes and both offers are valid through January 3rd, so don't miss out on these New Year's savings. And let's crush 2025 together. Joseph, I know that I'm all amped up for this year, baby.
Yeah, it's going to be a big year, man.
Need the tools to be able to execute.
Need the tools, exactly. Steadily improving day by day. That is the goal. But okay, guys, just back to implied volatility in Vega. So just one thing I really want to point out here is that when you are buying options contracts with a heightened implied volatility, so say you were to buy a call on Tesla today, well, you don't necessarily want to do that, right? You want to buy it when it's lower, but why you don't want to do that is because now that you're buying it at an increased premium, because now that the contracts fluctuate more, you are now paying top dollar for those contracts, okay? So just keep that in mind. And then day by day, Tesla's volatility isn't going to stay at this peak. It will slowly, day by day, start to dwindle. And you can kind of correlate the implied volatility with the average true range. So if you just have the average true range on your chart, you can see that, okay, yeah, it increased on today because of deliveries, and then day by day it slowly sold off. So just really keep that in mind. You want to sell options in heightened volatility, and you want to buy options with lower volatility with the anticipation that volatility is going to pick up, because that means there's more likelihood that your contract is going to expire in the money, okay? So beware, the options market is really, really smart, and they will price those things in. So just be really wary. And then when you buy contracts, one last point here on Vega, when you buy contracts on heightened volatility, you need it to move and continue that sustained price movement, which is extremely difficult unless you have high-level catalysts stepping in on that front, okay? So before we, we're just touching here on Vega as well too, folks. So let's keep this in mind. This is the implied volatility. I mentioned before, you kind of want to keep this around the lower half, around 40%, but this is heightened. I took this a couple days ago when Tesla was trading at $431. But again, here's the Vega. You can see, and that's how much the contracts will change with every 1% change in implied volatility. Okay, so you can always keep these two correlated. So, Rho. Rho is the Greek that measures the influence of interest rates on an options contract pricing. Well, now we know that, okay, we only have, how many FOMC meetings do we have a year? 4, or is it?
No, I think it's more than that. I don't know.
Is it more? Okay, so
sure, yeah.
so this isn't as often. This doesn't happen as often, and it doesn't affect the options contracts as much as the other 4 metrics do, okay? So just keep that in mind, but it's just good to know that when things do happen, 8, there's 8,
yeah.
Okay, so there's 8 meetings a year. So really, this is only happening 8 times a year when you really have to focus on Rho. But again, the change in it isn't drastic enough for options traders to be like, oh, I'm worried about Rho. That I don't think I've ever heard an options trader be like, oh, Rho did me dirty or anything along those lines. Like Theta, like you'll hear options trader be like, oh, Theta burned me. And there's a guy that I used to chat with, and his name was Theta burned me. So yeah, exactly. You got chewed up by time decay. But yeah, here we are, guys. So it influences interest rates and options contract pricing. So Rho represents the amount by which the price and option is expected to change for a 1% change in the risk-free interest rates, okay? So, for example, a Rho of 0.05 means the options price will change by $5 for every 1% change in interest rates. So that's a drastic amount with not much effect here, right? So the $5 on an options contract, there's spreads that are wider than what you are paying for those contracts. So call options have positive Rho, while put options have negative Rho, okay? So just keep that in mind, folks. And yeah, that's it, guys. So Rho, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If you have any questions about implied volatility, put them in the chat, and Theta as well too. But we have a really good question here from Belinda Paz. What is the best way to sell a put to get the stock assigned at a lower price? Great question. So what you want to do, if you want a specific price that you want to own that stock, sell that strike price, right? But again, the further you go out the money, the less likely you're going to get assigned. But you can also choose a range date. And if you don't get assigned, you also get to collect a premium, and then you can just recycle that trade again. So if you were going to go onto your delta metric here, I'll pull it up real quick before we send it off to Sharif. If we were going to go to our delta metric on the put side and select something around the 0.05 delta, right? This means that we have less than a 5% chance that this contract is going to expire in the money, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you want to sell this contract, the chances of it being assigned are extremely low, but the positive of that is that you can just recycle, keep selling that contract until eventually you do get assigned, but then you're creating passive income as well too, so you're just collecting options premiums, all right? So I really like that question. I voted Tesla, Sharif. What do you got going on?
I voted Tesla as well. You have to be shellacking and staking today. What I'm keeping my eye on, not for a day trade, but Uber. Uber is up 3 1/3. Now, the reason I'm interested in it because it's been defending 60 for a hot minute ever since we got, some of that Waymo stuff that sent Uber down quite aggressively off the highs. So Uber's been defending $60 for a while, and I'm just speaking about it in terms of a possible swing that I may want to include. And I haven't really decided whether to put it both in the swing and in the long term. If you go out and zoom out on Uber, you will know that $60 has been a level of support for a while. So if this will load over here, there we go. Look at all these months here. December 21, reject, 60. January 2021, reject. February, March, almost till April, $60 was a top. Then all hell broke loose in 2022. We don't need to relitigate 2022. Everybody knows what happened. But we were down over 65% on our friend Uber, never breaking below that $60 level again until January of last year, so about a year ago. Now, don't look over here because that's Black Monday. That's when the yen carry trade got unwound. But as you can see, a big boy green candle bringing that right above 60. So we've been hanging out at 60 for once, twice, OB thrice, and then now 4 weeks. If we close this week above 60, it'll be another 4th week of 60 defend on Uber. I know that's not really day trading material, but I wanted to mention that because I'm going to be very interested in what happens here with Uber. So yeah. All right, now let's talk about the trades that I have on. First one, NITO. So this is the one that was up or is up 215%. It's at the volume weighted average price. I'm long. I've got a price of 80 pennies. We're at 80 pennies right now. Let's see what happens, okay? It's going to have to hold VWAP. I've given it a little bit below VWAP to give it a bit of a buffer between the volume weighted average price level and my stop. But if it doesn't hold VWAP, I ain't married to this trade, baby, and we'll let it go. And so that's the first one, NITO. Second one, QSI. Strong name. It's been strong for a while. Quantum's in vogue right now. Anybody who's been day trading or has been in the market for the last month and a half, maybe even more, actually, I would say, since the election, Quantum has been strong. So QSI up another 22.5% today. What really got me interested in this area was the 10 exponential moving average retracement, as well as a retracement into an area of support. Look at this area where we whiffled and waffled at $3.20, so 3 1/5. We did that on a 3-candle basis before this big boy candle here at 10:30 brought us well above that 3 1/5. Then we drop back down. We're holding the 10 exponential moving average. So I'm trying to build my position with that 10 exponential defend in mind. Now, the problem is, like, how many times do we need to cross below this dip trade for me to get filled? This is a 1 penny spread, and I have no idea why I'm not being filled. Quite frustrating. In any event, here it goes. Move into the high side without me having gotten the full position. It's going to break 40s over here. We'll see what we get, and I will get upset over here because I didn't get the ad. All right, so pack my patience, see if we can continue to print on this one. Back now into NITO. For the moment, it's getting a decent bounce, and I say decent because we haven't got the print yet. Off the volume weighted average price. I'm waiting at 85s, and there it is. So we'll see if we can continue to rise up over here. Next level I'm waiting at around 92. Look, it's putting in lower highs. So despite the fact that it is bouncing off VWAP, we haven't changed trend. We're still getting incrementally lower highs on NITO. It's a big boy mover. It's got 237 percentage points up on the day. Let's find out what the short float is on this monster. It's nothing, essentially nothing. 0.84 says trade ideas with a float of 3.9 million shares. Smaller float, which is good. It helps that parabolic effect, but the short float, quite negligible. Now, what I'm also disappointed about, seems like I'm disappointed a lot here to start the beginning of the year. No, I'm kidding, of course. I tried to front run the size, what I perceive to be, support here on NRXP at that 275. And the reason I wanted that 275 dip, not because it's a $0.75 level, but we rejected that area quite obviously to me at 945. So I said, look, this is an obvious area of resistance. Does it act as support? In fact, it did, but this one's got a bit of a wider spread at times. And when we dipped down into that 276, I was trying to front run 275. I should have put it at 7.7s. I didn't get the fill, despite the fact that I was there. And there it goes into $3. Quite frustrating, but we'll look to do a little bit better. And hey, don't be frugal like me. If you're sitting at 76, throw it at 77, throw it at 78. At least that way you get the fill and you're not a schmuck like me sitting there watching the price ascend. So those are the two trades that I'm in at the moment. I'm very interested in setting up possibly on this one as well. SPCB. Now, this is kind of doing a bit of a compression pattern. It's at VWAP. It's putting in lower highs, but it's also got marginally higher lows.
So I'm unsure exactly how to trade this one because it's a very spready. For an $8 name, I'm very displeased with the spread. Let's load it up on a trading screen, but I can just see by how it's trading on the chart that it's spready. SPCB is the ticker I'm talking about. Let's get rid of COEEP over here, which was a holdover from, I believe, Tuesday. SPCB. Are we on the NQ? Yes, we are. So look at this. It's got a 12-penny spread on an $8 and 2/3 dollar name. So that's not obviously to my liking, and quite hard to manage risk with the small cap gapper style of trading that I have with this one. So I'm going to let this one cook. Likely will not trade it unless it's like an amazing entry, an amazing key level. All right, let's quickly back at QSI. No print yet. We'll pack our patience with that one. And NITO continues to whiffle and waffle, Joseph, at that volume weighted average price.
Hey, we got a $2 super chat here from X. What's the inside scoop on Tilray? $2.50 calls that expire the 6th month of 2025. Well, you know what? I'm going to point this out. As you can, we were just talking about this as well too, guys. So he bought some out the money calls. Now he got that rapid price movement up about 6%. I'm not too sure when you bought those calls, X, but when you buy out the money calls, even though you have a lot of time duration in the value of those contracts, you got a rapid move relatively quickly, all right? So, and one thing I'm going to point out here as well too, is that look at this volume. Sorry, guys. Look at this volume here. Putting in this potential bottom, so that's an outlier signature in my opinion. So continuing to move higher, a nice pullback on steady volume, and now continuing that topside ascension. So I mean, really good look. I look for some articles on it, nothing really outstandish, but it's starting to move. Some bottoming volume there, guys. So keep that in mind. Really nice look. But again, you bought that at a good time. If you bought it within the past couple of days, now you're getting that volatility to step in, which you really need when you buy those out the money calls, all right, guys? So really, really nice trade there on the call front. Hopefully you can hit that strike price that you're looking for and exceed that, because you're going to need to when you buy those out the money calls. I mean, that's still almost 100% move from where we're sitting at right now, just a little bit under. So you're gonna need a significant move on that front, but again, you're getting that volatility to step in at the right time. So hopefully that trade works out for you. All right. So nice look there on TLRY. Now, I want to point out this on IBIT. Slightly frustrating here, Sharif. I know, boom, as soon as I punch out, the price of this ETF decides that it wants to turn around, and sure enough, now going higher. So, it is what it is. I didn't get back into it, guys. Unfortunately, sorry about that. But again, we're sitting in this TSLA trade. Really nice bottoming signal. It's the same thing that I go over day after day is what I'm looking for in bottoming signals, and that's that isolated volume signature with an isolated pivot, and we got it here. I missed this move to the volume weighted average price, totally fine. As long as we don't break the low of this candle, I think that this thesis can still stay valid. So that's why I decided to get in. Didn't break the low, tried to catch as close to the bottom of that candle as I possibly could, increasing the risk to reward if I can get back up to the volume weighted average price. But unfortunately, we missed out on the IBIT trade, so we're just going to sit here in TSLL. As of right now, it is starting to work. Let's take a look at what the overall market is doing as well too, because I believe that's going to be extremely important. Especially if the Qs want to start to turn around. We know that Tesla had those delivery numbers and missed, unfortunately. But again, it's up year over year, is it not, Sharif?
Oh,
so yeah, exactly. So that's a real something really positive. Maybe we get those delivery number expectations slightly lower, and then we can exceed those, and the stock can continue to move higher and higher. But here we have the Qs, guys, just trading under the volume weighted average price. We know what was happening before the market opened as well too. We had Tesla selling, and sure enough, it was just bringing the market down with it as well too. So not a horrible look. Let's see if we can sit on top of the volume weighted average price here, and then I think that we can potentially turn around and continue to the northeast here, Sharif.
All right. Keeping my eye on QSI over here. Something's afoot with this one. This crossed my profit taker by 2 pennies and I didn't get filled. So something's, I'm not really sure exactly what's going on. I'm waiting at 40s. Let's see if we get the fill there at 40s. We still didn't get the fill though at 26s. So packing my patience there. Now, as I see it, SPCB, spready or not, it's making moves and it's got a bit of a range that it's established right now. So perhaps we can play it that way until it has a bit of a breakout. So the way I see it, about $9.50 is the top end of the range. We're about 6 pennies away from that. And then about $8.50, give or take. Sometimes it does dip into that $0.25 or that third of a dollar in the 8s. But SPCB, it's up almost 100%. It's 97, 98, now really going. It's at that 60 penny area. This might be the breakout unless we reject off this area. Now, we did reject earlier right up that 960 at 11.05 right to start the show. Here we go. We're squeezing into 80s. We're going to break 10s. This is the breakout right now on SPCB. Seller at 10. There goes 10 on the ask, not on the bid, though, Joseph. This one's still zigging and zagging at that $10 area. Now, mind you, that the high of the day is $10.22. So essentially 10 to 10 and a quarter. Keep your eye out on that level as there may be sellers. Excuse me there. It looks like we false halted there. Boom, through the false halt into 10 and a third. Big movement right now on SPCB, spready or otherwise. It's going. Keep your eye on this one. Adara, what's up?
Take a look here at some of these larger movers to the upside and the downside in the S&P 500. We know it's been a pretty volatile day for these major indices. Tesla leading the group to the downside that was trying to recover a little bit. It's worth noting here from what I'm seeing, the bigger issue with TSLA from an analyst perspective was not that they missed quarterly deliveries for Q4, but actually that their deliveries for the entire year dropped on a year-over-year basis. So 2024 deliveries were lower than those of 2023. So I just wanted to clarify that quickly here for TSLA. But TSLA is actually not one of the names we're going to be looking at here. There's some other S&P 500 names making big moves that are worth discussing. Starting with UBER. This one actually up on the day despite a downgrade from JMP Securities. Potentially, this could be, I guess, a little bit of antipathy with TSLA because we know Tesla here and Uber have sometimes moved in opposites. Tesla debuted its Cybercab and then Uber pushed to the downside. So unsure if that's what's happening here, but either way, this downgrade is not doing anything to UBER. Pushing higher, also getting a nod here on CNBC's final trades. Then we have BA making actually a little bit of a potentially a bottom here around that key 170 level. This one down about 3.5%. China has now expanded its export crackdown to 28 more companies, including Boeing and Lockheed Martin. So keep an eye on BA. And last but not least, CEG up about 6% here. This one actually, initially it was reported by Bloomberg. There was some rumors swirling around. Then about 20 minutes ago, Constellation actually confirms via a press release they're receiving $1 billion here in combined contracts by the U.S. General Services Administration. It's worth noting CEG is also backed by Microsoft. So CEG, keep an eye on this one for sure. And make sure to vote in that chat for your ticker of choice that you want to see covered in the rundown. We'll get another pop at those rundown tickers at 1 p.m. for new tickers to choose from. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. Just throwing in my stops over here. Yeah, we go.
Yeah,
all right.
Go throw the glasses on, man. The old blue lights. Yeah, get
looking
those
sharp, son.
Sharp,
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you got over there?
Oh, yeah. Let's see what we got going on here, guys. We're gonna go over the top performing sectors. I know Sean did this earlier as well too. But sitting in first place again, we have energy. So getting a little bit defensive in the market, it seems here, folks. Up about 1.63% on the session. XLRE, the real estate sector, sitting in second here, about 0.5% on the session. And then we got the finance sector, XLF, sitting at about the same as XLRE, about 0.5% up there, okay? So now let's go from third last to the bottom here and see what we got. The communication services, I thought Meta was trading higher today. Let's see here.
It is, 2 and a fifth.
Okay, so it's still negative. The overall sector is still negative here, Sharif. Down about 0.3%, and then consumer discretionary down about 0.6, and then the tech sector, the weakest of them all, about 0.8% there, guys. So just keep that in mind. RGTI is actually continuing to trade higher and higher. Unfortunately, I know Katina Man got in this here. Didn't get that VWAP grab, that's okay, but let's zoom out here a little bit and see what we got going on from a daily perspective. Holding these levels really key, putting in that nice support level here, folks, and then continuing to move higher. really, really strong session here. So let's see if we can go and break that 1939 level in the coming days. I don't think that's going to happen today. I won't rule it out, though. But again, looking really nice here on RGTI, continuing that really strong topside momentum. Sitting in a slow grind here on TSLA as well, too, folks. So let's see if we can slowly start to curl around again and then hop in on look to take some off there on Tesla, but we're going to send it off to Adara.
Interesting headline here in LYFT. We just talked about Uber, but then we have a bit of a headline coming in for Lyft. This one, as you can see here, getting increase in volume, especially to the upside over the last few minutes. There's a headline swirling around from the information saying that Amazon could acquire Lyft this year. It's worth noting this is not a report with any type of backing. It's basically just one of the information's opinions or predictions for 2025. So the information purely predicting that LYFT is a potential buyout candidate by Amazon. Again, there's zero confirmation or backing of any of this, but keep an eye on this stock regardless. Moving to the upside. Back to the Bash Brothers.
All right, yeah, Joseph, go on, brother.
Yeah. Oh, did I? No way, I did that, eh?
What happened?
Yeah, I punched. Wow. Okay, yeah, I punched all out of my Tesla position by accident. Yeah. It's the way she goes sometimes. You got all out of that one. A little bit of a fat finger there, folks. Nothing you can do about it. We could just be patient, reassess the situation, and look for another entry there. But Sharif, I'm in such a push-pull scenario with IBIT. It's like I kind of wanted to trade lower, but then again, I have more that I wanted to go higher because I want to grab more at a lower price. And sure enough, we're really starting to recover on this thing here. I want to pull it up the daily on Bitcoin. And what I was just thinking, as we say here on the show, I was looking for that flat bottom break here on the daily, and it's just been rejecting that 90K level multiple times, folks. So really keep that in mind, and it's bouncing off it really strong now. So I don't know if we're going to get that break of the $92,000 level that I was necessarily looking for, but as we continue to the top side, now I need to reassess the situation and say, is this going to form a lower high? Or are we gonna continue to move to the northeast? And I gotta think, like, if we break this 99 and go back into that 100K level, is it like, do I add on to this position or do I just allow what I got going to continue? But I mean, really strong in Bitcoin. I was telling Sharif this before, like we have 8 months of consolidation right here. I was expecting a little bit more of a move on Bitcoin, but sure enough, we've been holding these levels really, really strong. And yeah, looking like that we might go and test the all-time highs once again in the near future. But I really want to see, I think this is going to be a key pivot level at the 100K price mark, benchmark there, Sharif. So we just got to be patient and wait and see what happens on the spot.
Absolutely. All right. Let's talk about some of these trades that have kind of been ill-fated. NITO got stopped out. I was able to take a couple of pieces there, negative on it, broke through the volume-weighted average price. I'm not going to be DCing into any of that. I've kind of been on the lookout for the weakness coming into these small cap gappers. We talked about their affinity to continue. You know that they had that continuation lately. That has been dwindling as of late. They've been lacking continuity, especially in the midday period. So if that is going to be the case, we have to look at them entirely differently. We can't be looking at dollar cost average into them, because you may not get that bounce like we were before. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on these ones a bit more stringently than I had been in the past. Okay, so that one, a loser. NITO, red on that one. Now, this one we're doing okay on. QSI continues to hold the 10 exponential. Still haven't gotten my ad into this one, but I did get into NRXP. Despite the fact that I didn't get 76s, we ended up getting 85s. I'm waiting for this one to either attempt at 3 again, and then we'll take some profits there. But this one also, similar to SPCB, kind of spready, 4 or 5 pennies at times on a $2 name. Yeah, that's not exactly the look I'm going for. 5.5 million shares traded on a $2 name, also a little light. So we'll keep an eye on that. Rigetti continues to go. It is at the high of the day. It gave you an opportunity at 17. It didn't hang out there for that long. Once it had broke through that 17 in the third, it dipped back into 17 and now it's going to break that $0.50 area, about 14.5% today for Rigetti as it heads back into that high side. There's a new high day, 1758, looking to take that out as well. Probably going to make a 60 break and take awfully soon. RGTI is on one, baby. We saw the Katina man involved in this one a little bit earlier there. But I've got another eye, not just on Rigetti, but on VSTM. So this is a good one, 25% on the day. It's not a triple-digit winner, but a very respectful hold of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. It closed out at just a little bit of above 517 with a 678 HOD. This is the first time since I want to say 1045 that it's actually touched the 10 exponential moving average. This is the biggest drawdown, the pullback, on the day that VST has had. You have one red candle over here, a couple mixed in over here in this consolidation area, and this is the biggest pullback up that 678 high a day, and now it's coming into the 6 low 40s where the 10 exponential is hanging out. I'm talking about VSTM, small cap gapper. We're going to keep an eye out on that one, no doubt about it. I likely will load that up on a trading screen. SPCM. This thing is nuts. Breaks through $10, 1048 HOD, and in one 5-minute candle halts to the downside at $9. Gives $1.48 back like that, and then halts. Yeah, these ones are around for a good time, guys. They're not necessarily around for a long time, so have some resting profit takers there and get your profits while you can, because they may not be hanging out. Okay, so NRXP, we got some profits there. Back to QSI, nothing doing, still waiting for that break of 45s on QSI. Nothing entering right there. Let's take off SPCM and put VSTM. So SPCB, is open back at 9. It's above the volume weighted average price. This could be an interesting area here to enter because you're so close to VWAP. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to enter here if I can. It might not let me in. Might have to chase it again. Oh, I just love when that happens, when I have to chase these. Yeah, I'm going to get in a little bit over here. Let's see. There we go. And then we'll put the stop at 888, and then come what may there. So there we go. We're long. Where are we long? 17s. Let's go ahead and see if we can take some out there at the $0.25. There's one. Let's see if we can take out some at the third as well. We'll set up some there, and I'll set up in front of the $0.50. So we've seen this one show its propensity to be awfully volatile. There we go. We'll take some prints to the high side, still south of the whole dollar though. I'm trying to use 9 as support here. It's above the volume weighted average price, so it's not technically breaching my rules of having gotten in. So let me just load up my trading screen over here so I can see exactly what kind of size we're in. Yeah, we're going to have to take out more over here as it comes a little bit down. So I'm going to keep my eye out on this one. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm a little bit frozen here, folks. So no. Yeah, exactly. So we'll just have to work around this a little bit.
I can take over.
Yeah, that's right. I can talk about this, and then I'll reset in a second here. So someone asked us to take a look at Lays. Let me pull up what they actually do as well, too. LAES. Okay, it's Switzerland-based holding company operating primarily in the semiconductor industry. Okay, sitting around $839 million market cap. Good look there. I mean, it's trading extremely well here on the session. So beautiful 5-minute, mediocre 5-minute opening drive here, but inability to hold these pre-market lows. Trades above the volume weighted average price. Nice consolidation phase here, and then breaks the resistance level really, really strong, and now continuing to move to the top side. Now let's zoom out a little bit here and see what we got going on. Oh wow, okay, this is up significantly in the past, not even a month here. So let's see what we're up here in these trading sessions, folks. Over 2,000% off of these December lows, which is absolutely fantastic. So semis, Switzerland-based, looking pretty good there. So 2,000% in less than 22 days. So really, really good look. But I'll send it off to you real quick, Sharif.
All right, no worries. Yeah, take care of that. All right, we're taking some out here on SPCB. I took out some there in the mid-50s. It's having a lot of issues, though, with the continuation. We've seen, what I've seen, how this one has traded. So it's got wide range per candle, so you need to be alert to that right away. The range per candle should influence where you take profits, as well as where you put your stops, as well as how much size you're taking, because you have to be able to manage risk with that as well. So, how does that affect the trade that I have here. Based on my entry, it doesn't really affect it at all, because if it breaks the volume weighted average price, I'm gone on this one. But the thing is, I'm layering my orders because it's not spending all that much time at all at any one price level. Case in point, it popped into 50s, quick as you like, it was back into the teens. I did get the print there, only because I had a resting order. So that's kind of the idea right now. Looking for this one to continue to put in higher lows, because that's what it's been doing, but it's giving you volatility, or it's manifesting volatility while it's holding the pattern, right? With the higher lows is kind of what I'm trying to say there. So that's what I'm keeping my eye on right now. Back into the mid 40s we go. Let's see if we can get a break a take of that $0.50. You know where I'm sitting once I took that $0.50. I'm sitting at 69s, and that's where I'm going to be sitting. So we'll see what we get there. QSI, we just got the print there through 45s. Happy about that one. We're long 36s. This one's breaking out into highs. It just printed 55s there. So behooves me to take some profits up here if we're able to continue. I'm waiting at 54s and bang. There we go. So we continue up here on QSI. Back to SPCB, because I see that one is squeezing through the $0.50. Didn't get printed at 69. Surprise, surprise. I haven't been getting printed on dip trades or outs on the day. That's been my luck. I don't want that to be to foreshadow for the rest of the year. So hopefully we'll change the luck. And there we go. Through the high side, we get printed at 69s. Now I'm waiting at 82s. Where are we long? We're long 17s. Let's see if we can get that 82 print. Zigging and zagging right now. SPCB showing me 72s on the ask, 57s on the bid. That ain't the move. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Back to QSI, as that one just took out 60s. High a day right now on QSI, 360 up 32%, Joseph. This one seems to be making moves. NRXP involved in that one as well at 86s. It just touched 3. So we'll look to wet our beak super quick over here, and we'll send it back to Joseph.
Hey, good stuff there, my guy. Just had to reset there. Everything is Gucci now. So yeah, we're sitting in some TQs here, folks. Again, the momentum through VWAP isn't the best, so I think we're going to have to give this one a little bit more room. Totally fine. If we do break some of these key support levels, then I'm just going to get out. Then you can reassess the situation and then hop right back in. So let's see what the TQs are doing. I know a lot of people in the chat are saying NVDA is starting to trade significantly higher. So let's take a look at NVDA because we have not on the session. So let's see what we got going here. And continuing on the daily to move quite nicely. So yeah, here we go. A little bit of a choppy mess here, but just look at that VWAP hold there, folks. And then the break of the double bottom to move higher. But we are failing the high a day, so that may be something to keep an eye out for as well too. So I mean, good luck here on NVDA. This thing has been trading a lot better than it was, I believe, a month ago, in my opinion anyways. So nice look. Look at this 5-minute opening drive. We did push all the way up here, and then sellers pushed it back down. But again, the inability to break these pre-market lows and then hold them, all right? So a nice drive through VWAP here. Hold consolidation phase. Go for that second leg higher, need to grab some more liquidity, and then sure enough, now on that third test, we are now going to those highs a day. So we've got to keep an eye out for that. I do think that if this momentum to the top side does continue, then we're going to break that high of day on NVDA, and then there might be a trade on that front. But as of right now, just going to sit in these TQs. I think this one's going to be a little bit more of a slow burner, as I mentioned before. So we've got to give it more room and then just sit and let it kind of cook and let it do its own thing, all right? So if it breaks those key levels, then you know we're gonna get out of the position and then just reassess the situation from there. So yeah, Joe, can you look at BA? Tell me if you agree there's a hammer candle forming if it closes on the 15-minute daily. Can we get a reversal back upwards? Yeah, absolutely. I like your thought process on that for sure, because you know I'm always looking for those reversal signals. So let's take a look at BA on the 15-minute chart. And do I see, okay, so I see what you're looking at, and I totally would agree with you, especially after all this aggressive selling, right? This could be a potential reversal signal, but as soon as the low of that candle is broken, thesis invalid. Now you're looking at this additional hammer candle, but I want you to keep in mind, and the more comfortable you get with these type of systems and this setup, is that you notice if it doesn't close as a complete hammer, that means there's a little bit more selling or buying pressure. And in this case, it looks like there's a little bit more selling pressure. So I don't know if the price is necessarily ready to turn around, okay? One thing to point out is that volume, but also look at it as somewhat of a continuation play on the 15-minute chart, all right? So we would want to see this a little more isolated with a solid close to the top side, kind of saying that all sellers are exhausted and we're ready for price to turn around, okay? So the more comfortable you get, you're looking in the right direction, you have the right idea. It's just kind of just confining those and just refining them, and continuing to see what works and what doesn't. But again, you're looking in the right area, you have the right idea. So I don't know if it's gonna turn around just yet. 15 minutes is a little vast for me, so let's zoom in here. I don't see anything from a 5-minute time frame either. What do you got going on there, my guy?
Man, SP
whoa, look at that thing.
Bro, we almost took $2 on this thing.
Wow.
Okay. Taking it out at 79. Joseph, I got in at 9. I'm done my trade on this one, but yeah. Dude, I was negative on this one. I earned it all back.
You earned it all back.
Some.
Monster.
Yes, I'm really happy with this one.
Bang. We'll get that. We'll get this.
I appreciate you,
and then we'll get, I don't know, we'll throw it up there though. Oh boy.
He was printing back there.
He was, he was going, he's like, let's go. Yeah, he got a lot on that
Tesla
trade there, yeah.
It was on the Spider? I thought it was definitely Tesla.
You went swinging. You went
That's
web.
Fantastic. Obi, you're killing it.
You went web swinging.
Obi was swinging on that Spider, baby, because he was getting excited while the Katina Man was in a position. So I thought he was with the Katina Man in Tesla.
I thought he was in Tesla too, because Tesla was just absolutely selling at the beginning.
Yeah, he was good confluence. He said, "There you go. There's my man."
But yeah, back to BA. I don't see any definitive turnaround signals just yet. Maybe this. But again, just wait. Price action does look like it's slowly starting to curl over, so that's a positive as well too. So just pack your patience on this one. I mean, we were up 33% on Boeing from the lows. Just keep that in mind. So a little bit of a pullback here is totally justifiable, especially kind of what it's doing now in the overall market not being the strongest. So yeah, good luck there on Boeing. I know someone else said something in the chat, but please retype it and I'll go and I will look over it there. But again, Sharif, just sitting here in TQs, don't got too much going on. As I mentioned before, a little bit of a slow burner. So we're going to sit on our hands with this one and see if it starts to work out.
Sounds good. We're going to load up a V, STM, V as in Victor, STM on a trading screen over here. And I'm going to enter because it's putting in higher lows. At the 10 exponential. So there were long now 49s, come what may. I will likely add into the third of $1. In fact, I'm just not going to say likely, and we're going to throw out the orders right now. I'm going to sit at 35s rather than 33s, just to front run it if possible over here. All right, so we're moving on up on it. So it looks like I got it in a good area. Let's set up a beak wetter at the 10 penny area. We'll see what we get there, and we will not get upset. All right, here's what I want to talk about. SPCB, I started very poorly on it. I entered at the highs. I took some profits out. I tried to dip trade, and I did add into this one at 960 only for the bottom to drop off, and then I got the hell out of there once it before the halt. So I got out at 910. It halted at 9. And then obviously, needless to say, I was feeling quite stupid for having entered in at the highs, but once it unhalted and it was back in trading, I was watching to see what it did. I'm like, okay, is this going to not flat bottom break? Is it going to give a VWAP and then you retrace back into the low of the day at around $5, $5.50? It didn't do that. And there were buyers stepping in on the ask. That's when I punched in. And I punched in a bigger position than I typically would have. And I had to because I was down on it. And the only way to really get the hell, to make back the money was to take a bigger position. And that's kind of what I did. And so far we have almost the top. They're probably not going to be the top because this one looks like it wants to stay above that triple-digit winner range and maybe even take $11. So SPCB definitely going to be on watch here for me as this one continues to whiffle and waffle, coming right back in though. At that level, let me make sure all my stops are cleaned up on SPCB, and they're not. So good thing I remember to do that. Otherwise, I find myself short or long or whatever else I didn't want to do, Joseph. So SPCB, we're going to keep an eye out on this one. South of 10 right now, up over 100%. But we're also involved in NRXP, and this one is on the way up. Sorry, my level 2's gone on this one. This one's at the high of the day. Where am I long? I'm long at 86. It's printing 13s, 14s now. No, 13 is the high of the day, showing 14s though on the ask. I don't think it's the right idea to take anything out here. In fact, I probably will have a dip trade on this one to defend 3. So 3 was an obvious level of resistance. We weaseled up there earlier at around, let's just say 10.10. And then we had another attempt over here at 3 at 11.20, only
to have that fail. That's where I entered, and there's the new high day. It's coming in 15s now on NRXP, up 41.33%. Anyway, to finish what I was saying, if 3 was a bit of an issue for NRXP, does it now act as a level of support if it comes down to that level? That's always a question that I'm asking myself. So I'm going to throw out an order over here to defend $3, but I'm not going to sit right at $3. I don't think that that's the right move. Well, let's watch this one as it comes back down. Let's give this one opportunity to kind of manifest and see what the situation is here. As it comes right back into that 3, does defend it. For now, underline that, for now, back into 04 as it goes. It's a 1 penny spread right now, but I've seen it as wide as 3. So, you know, that's not the worst, obviously, but it is a $3 name, so it's all contextual there. I'm going to throw out the order over here. I don't want to give it back. I'm going to throw it. This is the right thing to do. So we're going to throw out the order there. Now, VSTM, I got to manage this one too. So we didn't get the print on VSTM as this one comes back down below the $0.5. Still technically putting in higher lows on VSTM on the 5-minute and technically respecting the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute. I'm talking about VSTM here. Only up really 25.5%, a little bit more, but a decent looking chart pattern, one that we can base something off. Okay, so we did get the ad now on NRXP at 02. So now we have a decidedly different cost basis as it dips below 3, and here it comes. Yeah, this is always the question. No, bro, it's the other way around. It's dropping.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. It's coming right back into that 10 exponential moving average. So no defend of 3 over here. I want to see what it does at the 10. Does it give way at the 10? Because there's a whole bunch of selling right now. And on NRXP, now we're about 4 pennies out of the money, sorry, as the spread opens up here to 4 pennies rather than 1. So obvious selling coming in right now on NRXP, still above the 10 exponential moving average. I don't want to add here. That's not the move for me anyway. It's going to have to curl up off here. If I get a worse price, I get a worse price. But it is continuing to bleed. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, right back into that. Breaching now the 10 exponential into the mid-80s we go here on NRXP. Okay, you win some, you lose some. I had to take that 3 defend because it was an obvious area of technical support. So, you know, you're not going to always execute the way that you want on your plan, but that's all right. So we'll keep an eye out on that. I do like what it's doing here at the 10 exponential. It's breached it on previous occasions. We're going to get an ad here. What are you doing, Joseph?
Yeah, someone in the chat asked me to take a look at VST for them. I'm just looking at what VST exactly is. So it's an integrated retail and electric power generation company. The company operates in 6 businesses segments: retail, Texas East, West, Sunset, and asset closure. The retail segment represents its retail sales of electricity and natural gas, okay? So about $50 billion market cap there, and they're saying that they have some 149 calls or 148 calls. I mean, it's looking really, really good as of right now, especially from a daily standpoint. You're holding these key support levels. You have that kind of head and shoulders pattern here, and now putting in this really strong engulfing bullish pattern. So again, I think your expiry was in a week or less. That's the thing, time constraints, right? So you really, really need to pay attention to time value in options. That's what we were going over earlier. So you're kind of at the money, it seems to be now, so keep that in mind. So the next couple of days, you need this bullish price action to continue in order for those contracts to be profitable. So just keep that in mind. If time decay is really, really starting to chew up the value of those contracts, and it will as you get closer to expiration, then just look to reassess that situation. If you're looking to lose the full value of those contracts, totally fine, but just have your risk measures implemented and in place, all right, guys? So let's talk a little bit about TQQs. Worked out really nice for us here, guys. I was starting to pull back in the volume weighted average to the volume weighted average price right now. So, but again, a nice move here on the TQs. I told you this was going to be a little bit more of a slow burner, so we had to let this one cook for a little while before it started to work out, and that's totally fine. Good entry. We had our outs defined, so we weren't worried about that. Now starting to pull back in a little bit here, so we got to be wary of that. We're going to cut the trade, I think, right now as we come to our break even, because we don't want to turn a winning trade into a loser. So there we go. As we punch through the volume weighted average price, we're going to get out of this trade. Just reassess the situation. This could just be a little bit of an aggressive pullback, and then we look to get back in, all right? But one thing I want to point out, Sharif, I'm noticing a lot of new names in the chat here today. Yeah, a lot of new names. But we're also really close to 490,000 subscribers. So I don't have the pity of the fool, Neil. Make sure you like and subscribe. But guys, close to 490 subs is absolutely insane. So thank you guys very much. A lot of you guys watching. So there we go. You got it. You better like and subscribe because you don't want to hear from Neil. And you know he's probably got his lesson. Does he have a lesson of the day? Because yeah. So coming up in 5 minutes, you don't want to hear it from him. So it's better to hear it from me because he might give you a little harder time than I and Sharif will. As you can see, he says, don't pity the fool. So anyways, guys, yeah, really good look. And thank you all very much. 4,300 people watching here. And we got the rundown votes just running rampant right now with over 1,000 votes. So get your votes in there as well too, guys. So having fun with that. I'm glad to see all the regulars back into the chat in the new year and then all the new people as well too, Sharif. So that's really exciting because I know we had a lot of fun on Tuesday and I think the people did as well.
Oh God, yeah.
So it's good to see everybody back and we're enjoying being with you guys. And I like seeing the new people and especially talking with the regulars as I mentioned before, guys. Absolutely. But yeah. Let's get back into some stocks, but just make sure you like and subscribe first. But yeah, guys, here we go. Ooh, NVDA going for the high a day here, Sharif. That volume is kind of dwindling, but again, let's just wait. I do think that we can continue on this magnificent path that NVDA has been on. So, I mean, we know that all the other tech sector stocks have been trading significantly higher, making new all-time highs. NVDA was a little bit laggard. Is it its time to shine now? I think so. So just be prepared. I do think this price action continues in NVDA and especially the strength. So I'm looking forward to trading this in the near future, my guy.
I like how JV's thinking there. Thank you for the $2 super chat, obviously, Jay. Any rewards for the 500,000 sub? Look, I don't know if we can even do that logistically. I'll have to check with Brendo and the amazing production team if we can actually see who number 500,000 actually was, like which user gets that moniker. I don't know if that's possible using our metrics, but we'll check with the big kahunas, obviously. That'd be great. All I know is I'm be pumped, baby, for that 500,000 subscriber. Definitely. I've been on the show since August of 2022, and I've loved every minute that I've been here. So to watch the show grow just obviously makes me very happy. Nick Dub, he's throwing money down in the chat as usual. One of the OGs there, $10 dang super chat from Nick Dub. Happy New Year's, guys. Hope you all had a good one. Thoughts on Rivian, levels on extended time frame. Want to buy more calls. Was looking at 1230, but doesn't like we'll see it again. All right. Doesn't look like, I'm assuming, Nick means we'll see it again. Let's have a look at that 1230 area. Nick Dub is talking about our friend Rivian. Just keeping my eye on my positions. Want to make sure everything is good there. All right. Let's load this bad boy up. This is the daily. This is the weekly, excuse me, on Rivian. Let's flip to the daily. All right. What do we got here with our friend Rivian? Okay. So we're still putting in lower highs, which I don't like, obviously, with that December. That's a December 2023 area crest. And then we popped up, I remember, in early summer, late spring, into that 18 and change. I know people were buying in and around there. 18, and then we have another lower high over here at 15 change. So I don't necessarily like the long-term look on Rivian. However, the other side of the coin is as follows. We bottomed out there. It looks like in early April, early to mid-April, right around that 8 1/3, 8 1/2. And then last time around when we bottomed, we held another key level, $10. So this time, $10 acting as that level of defense as opposed to that 8 1/2 or 8 1/3. So I do like the higher low. I'm not necessarily a fan of these umpteen amount of lower highs. Now, there is good news possibly on the horizon for Rivian. We know that the R2 is likely going to be, their focus in 2025, with the R3 being the focus, I believe, into 26. The reason that's important is because the Rivian is like $100,000 dang dollars starting. I don't know what it is in the States, but it's like $115,000 used here. What kind of market share you think they're picking up with that? Bupkis. right? So you need a more, obviously affordable car, i.e. the Model 3, i.e. possibly the Model 2, even more affordable. So Rivian, they could have a fantastic year if they're able to, get lock down some orders and maybe boost their delivery numbers, this, that, and the other. But there's got to be a catalyst somewhere. It's not going to just move on the R1S and the R1T. Those are too expensive. So there's going to have to be a catalyst of sorts. It's likely going to be the R2 in my humble estimation. So we'll keep tabs on that. Bang on NRXP, Joseph. We took out some there, so I added, and I was kind of disappointed that I added at 3, but then I added again at the 10, and now we're well in the money again. So let's set up some orders for the high side here. NRXP up 40%, and I'm looking to take more, baby, showing 7s now on the level 2. I'm waiting at 8s come what may. All right, VSTM, I did add at the 20 exponential moving average, but this is going to have to retake 50. This is going to be my last add. If this breaches the 20 exponential moving average, that's it. I'm not going to DCA into VWAP. VWAP is just too close to $6, and we're at that 6.5. That ain't my move. So it curls up here. It's got a bottoming tail kind of hammer candle right now on the 5-minute chart that wicks off the 20 exponential. That's a good sign, but it's only one candle. Never put too much stock into one candle. We'll see what comes from that. Adara is at the big desk, and then it's going to be Neil's lesson of the day.
Let's go.
Wild start for 2025, the new year. We had the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ both gapping up, then pushing down, recovering, pushing back down, and once again trying to make a bounce. But it's worth noting, lower highs every time. NASDAQ here actually forming a little bit of a stronger base, but still down in the day, and looks like we have some support resistance flips here around that 514 halves level for the Qs. One of the biggest stocks on watch all day today has, of course, been TSLA. So down about 5% here after reporting lower than expected deliveries. But from what I'm hearing, the bigger issue was not the deliveries missed, but the fact that their deliveries actually dropped here on a yearly basis for the first time ever. So TSLA, you're down about 5% on lower than expected deliveries for the entire year. LYFT actually up on a very interesting headline. We had some reports are circulating that the information is predicting, and keep in mind, not reporting, but predicting that Lyft could be an acquisition candidate here from Amazon in the new year. Also worth noting, competitor Uber, also very strong, being added to Goldman Sachs conviction list alongside Norwegian Cruise Line. So lots of tickers to keep an eye on here. Make sure that you like and subscribe and participate in all of our many polls in the chat. There's 3 polls every midday. At 11 a.m. and 1 p.m., we have the rundown polls, so you have 4 tickers to choose from to be covered on the afternoon rundown at 2 p.m. And then at 12 p.m., we have our special Playmaker poll where you vote if you like to go long or short the SPY, and the trade is taken as a group. So really exciting stuff here. But for now, we're going to have to see what Neil has to give us with his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adara. And it's unavoidable today to not talk about Tesla and execution plans, because it's not often that you're going to get in the wild a morning like this where the delivery numbers came, again, declining deliveries for the first time. And when they missed that 500,000, which I think everybody was sort of saying that's the number that they have to hit, you did see a bit of a panic on Tesla. The bid dropped precipitously. It was about a 410. I'd say the first actual bid that I saw when I flipped over to it after the deliveries was certainly under the 400 level. It looked like it blew through that very quickly. Let me just go to a 3-minute chart, because I like to use go to a 1-minute chart. I prefer to use a 3-minute. But I think this morning I had to shift over to a 1-minute just to get a bit of an idea of that price action. Now, if we know that the stock is going to be the big volatility name after it drops 410 down to 483, you're now talking $25. That's as much as it's going to move in a normal day when it's volatile. So you already know you've got to change things up a little bit. And we started talking about $5 ranges instead of 1 or 2. I think that was the first step. But then there's the other factor. When you've got a news-based event like this, some of your tried and true entry strategies, they might not be what end up working, because you're in a bit of a different situation market-wise, or at least for that particular stock in the market. So a couple of things that we can like is, hey, I like a certain level. Let's just short it off of that level, and then work into position off of that level, be willing to stop out, be willing to wick back in. That worked in the pre-market. But I want to show you when I had a setup here and try to do the same thing. This is pre-market. After the open, when it dumped, we tried to do pretty much the same thing we had done that worked before, which was work into the short in front of our level, which was VWAP, be willing to get stopped out and wick back in. But when I look at this, you've got to be able to adjust on the fly. And I show you guys this trend reversal because we talk about patience all the time. And that once the volatility and the liquidity of the open, I think is the word, not the volatility, but liquidity of the open starts to come into play, you do want to change a little bit. And one of the strategies that usually I will use as an execution strategy when you have a big move like this on Tesla is I can like shorts in this range all I want, but wait for the actual mean reversion setup. And that's to find the higher low and see if it holds trend. Suddenly, instead of that consolidation short or the consolidation short where you're giving it to the level, like something you were doing before, you're just looking for that and then strike. It's about that flip. Okay, I've got multiple ways that I like getting into something. Look at how strongly it's trending. Allow it to break the trend. And then you get this short. It doesn't follow through, but you're probably not losing on an 88 short in here that gets you back to 85. You certainly would scalp one or two legs out, or at least I would in strategy, because it's just breaking VWAP and into this prior low at the pre-market. So for sure, that's a level I'm taking at least a couple of legs out in front of. It shouldn't be a losing trade. And then again, I'll show you what we did a second time, which was to short it off the area instead of the execution strategy of the mean reversion. Again, upward trend, big time volatility mover. And when do you want to use a mean revert? When there's an excess amount of volatility. You want big moves and strong trends to try to use this type of strategy. You want a more calm market to do a consolidation style strategy. Well, it wasn't calm. Look at the strong bar. We try the other type when really the mean revert, once again, if you treat it like a parabolic mover, I could draw that more clean, but it's this bar that enters your short. It never breaks the high. It breaks down and gives you your trade. This is sort of the thing. I will use that strategy far more often for entries on your small cappers than on a Tesla. But the way Tesla was moving today wasn't a support and resistance when it shows you a consolidation. It was let it run some stops and continue to run stops. And then when it reverses that trend of higher highs and higher lows, jump in real quick. Now, it's a much different story now, as you can see. Look at it. It's nowhere near as volatile since the open. You get way more sideways action. Okay, so now that it's an afternoon or lunchtime trade, I can slip into the mode of consolidation under VWAP, which I'm sitting in right now. But that's very different from when it's going absolute chaos in the open. When it's going absolute chaos, use strategies and entry strategies and execution strategies that are best reserved for high volatility. Sometimes that might mean take something that you use on, for lack of a better word, like the Rigettis of the world or the Unities of the world, and you might want to apply those executing on Tesla when it is doing these crazy trends. Got to be able to adjust on the fly. I was trading it kind of like a normal big cap tech stop in terms of execution strategy, which got away with in the pre-market well, but did not work once the market opened. Had we flipped over to a more volatile mean reversion strategy with those precise entries where either goes right away or doesn't work, that's where you can get that juice. And obviously, you got to be able to flip back and forth. Lunchtime, a bit of a different story here. I should probably get some out in front of 82s. But this is the idea. It's not like we didn't know it was higher volatility on Tesla, but you still got to be able to make that adjustment. Just because a trade strategy or setup works for you a lot doesn't mean you're trading a stock that is aligning with that particular setup. Yes, Tesla's a big cap tech name, but it wasn't trading like a normal one because of those deliveries. So needed a different execution strategy to take advantage of the shorts that were there and were plentiful in Tesla. Like ideally, you would have had all of the best executions, but it's not enough just to be in the right direction. You got to trade the type of stock and make sure that you are executing for that style. That's your lesson of the day. I think Tesla's still going to have great volume and volatility, and we just have to be able to flip back and forth, consolidative or parabolic. Got to pick your lane and make sure you stay in it. Oh, I like that. I was going to say something different. Sharif just said stay in it to win it. That's your lesson of the day. Good one, Sharif. I like that. I'm stealing that actually going forward.
Neil Roberts, baby, lesson of the day. Around these parts, like over on this desk and then over there, and then maybe at the big desk too. We call it Neilage.
Neilage.
Right?
Neilage.
I feel like how I got all
this. Sharif, I need you to hit that flat bottom break for
Absolutely.
Me there,
what did flat? AMD? The advanced money destroyer. My man's taking profit.
Acquiring more dollars here on AMD, but well, it's still advancing and money destroying at the same time to the downside here, folks. But we played the break of some key support levels. That momentum stepped in, and sure enough, we just started to peace out. I do think we'll eventually start to pull back here and come and test these levels. So what once was support, we are now looking to become resistance, all right? So let's see what happens if this pullback is going to be overly aggressive or not. But full disclosure, we took another stab on the TQs at the break of the volume weighted average price, and sure enough, it decided to sell off too with AMD and some other tech stocks as well too. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. I was kind of trading against myself. I don't necessarily like to be short AMD and then long the overall market, or short NVDA and long the overall market. Usually doesn't work out the best, but sure enough, here we have AMD working out really nice for us. So let's see if we can continue this southeast movement in price action, or we get stopped out on the pullback here. All right, folks, continue to let us know what you guys are looking at here in the chat, and we are sure to be going over those tickers that you point out for us. All right, guys, so VST is actually trading really nice for that individual who pointed that one out. I'm looking at Meta here, Sharif. We have a potential bullish flag here kind of forming, in my opinion. Let's see, we got those higher lows forming. We did break that resistance level, and now sitting on top of it, acting as support. So let's see if this consolidation phase either wants to break to the top side or we head back to the southeast. But either way, I like the way this price action is forming up. A little expensive for me, but we'll keep an eye on that. If it does break with some momentum and it drags the overall market with it, then maybe we can look to play the TQs again, because if Meta decides that it wants to move higher and NVDA is trading near its highs of days. You know what I didn't look at today though, my guy, was Apple, and see what Apple was looking at.
We don't need to look at Apple.
Oh, yeah, okay, so yeah, there we go. A little bit of a headwind there maybe on the overall market there, brother. What do you think about there on Apple?
Yeah, Joseph, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look, eh?
It's not a good look, Joseph. Weak China sales, Huawei continuing to steal chips. And doing, I'm kidding. I say that tongue-in-cheek, obviously, but Huawei obviously increasing market share. Decidedly, their Apple's market share in China keeps going down. Obviously, the second biggest market, so something definitely to worry about there. And then the Orange Man is bringing on tariffs.
Tariffs
right?
there as well,
Who knows?
too.
That was why I took.
Huawei has the flip phone too, don't they?
That triple flip, yeah.
The triple flip.
Like like Marquise Brownlee talks bear smack about it. There is obviously issues with it, but it is a first to market technology, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't really know what they've got up their sleeve for the next third, fourth version, right?
I think that's something that Apple needs to do, is come up with like a totally different model than what they've been putting out for the past 20
Everybody's been saying that, Joseph. The product pipeline has dried up since the death of Steve Jobs, and the products that they have launched that were new, i.e. like the Vision Pro, has been a flop. I personally don't want to use the Vision Pro as that example of, hey, they launch a new product, it's flop. I think Apple was very specific.
Don't launch a product that they spent billions on, the Apple Car.
I don't think they spent too much on
I think
it,
they spent. I heard they spent a lot of money on it.
I kept hearing different things, like they had their own division, they were going to work with Hyundai. But to go back to the point that I was saying, I don't want to base Apple's new product launch and look solely at the Vision Pro. I think that they were very specific about what their intentions were for the Vision Pro, that it was kind of like a prototype kind of thing, the first stage for a bigger product development line later.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily want to judge the Vision Pro's sales as, kind of reflective of, oh, this is Apple's new product pipeline under the Tim Cook administration. I don't know. I think they perfect that. I think Meta's definitely got the advantage.
With the Orion.
You saw those Orion glasses, right? Those look really good.
So, I mean, with the Vision Pro, it's its first generation, I'm pretty sure of it, correct? So, I mean, like, what do you think Apple's looking at? They say, oh, Meta has the Orions, but then now we have the Vision Pro. And I mean, they're kind of two totally different things. The Orions are more compact, right? Like a pair of Ray-Bans, opposed to being like wearing like scuba gear.
And let's call a spade, bro. Nobody's gonna. Well, I don't want to say nobody, but most people don't want to walk with that thing on their face.
I mean,
and it hurts your head out.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And I mean, when it first came out, you would see people kind of being in the meme craze, like people walking down the street with it, right?
It's always though, right?
But yeah, and then it phases out, it dies out, exactly. So
I mean, that's kind of. I don't want to judge them too quickly on that, but like, oh, they got no product pipeline. We'll see. But the fact of the matter is, bro, they've been refining the products that were already made under Steve Jobs. That concerns me. And that's why I always bring up that conversation with you, manager versus innovator. It's a dichotomy as old as time or as old as tech.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's time that you just stop coming out with like an iPhone and then the Pro version of that exact same iPhone. So it's maybe they do. I said this earlier in the week. They're never first. But they usually end up being the best.
I hope so.
So, yeah,
I hope so.
So there we go.
We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, guys, you know the reason we're talking about this is because it's my largest position. So Joseph likes to poke when whatever it is, bro. Cactus Jacks, I love your name, by the way. Whoa. What about AirPods and Apple Watch? Those are their own companies on earnings. Well, look, I mean, obviously they sell a lot of them, so I see your point. You know, they could be, you know, an entire revenue stream for a company. I get that. You have a good point about that. I just don't think those are the products that move the needle. What I'm really looking at, though, is services. I think that is where the margins are. We're talking about over 80% gross margins on services, and that's where you can make the majority of the money. But I think we do have to send it to Adara at the big desk.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that.
We had a couple different analyst notes here on TSLA since we had those deliveries coming out here around 9 a.m. We had a little bit of a mixed note there from Stifel saying there's minimum negativity. Now we actually have Baird coming out. This actually seems pretty positive, saying that they believe that if they do roll out these new models, as Sharif mentioned, there's that Juniper on watch there, which is a remake of one of its older models. If this happens, this could actually raise demand for TSLA. They're saying that in spite of the fact that these Q4 deliveries were a bit disappointing. And they said that these potential launches could be a catalyst for demand regardless of the deliveries even going forward. They also mentioned their growth in the energy business, their robotaxi business, and Optimus scaling, all as positive catalysts. So Baird still very bullish on TSLA, regardless of these numbers we got this morning. Tesla right now continuing to waffle around that 385 level. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll send you back to the Bash Brothers.
Waffling, you say, Adara. Okay, I like that. No, seriously though, we're going to take out everything right now on NRXP because it's taking out the high of the day. Where did we get in, man? I think we got in at like 86s or something like that. Take it out to $0.25, breaking out right now. NRX dang Pete's up 45.45%. And it just occurred to me, I didn't give you guys any of the details on NRXP, and here it is. So NRX Pharmaceuticals, it's a clinical stage biopharma company. Company's developing therapeutics based on its N-methyl D aspartate, whatever, bro, platform for the treatment of central nervous system disorders. Okay, the float, the market cap's about $39 million. Volume on the day, 7 million, and the float 0. Okay, thanks, platform. No, we're kidding, of course. Let's check what Trade Ideas has NRXP. So we have a 6.5% short float there with a float of around almost 8 million shares. So both are good, but in the sense that you have a decent short float and you also have a smaller float. That is good if you're trading intraday because it makes it a bit more volatile. When you have a smaller float, volatility increases because less liquidity, less shares to be traded. Okay, so NRXP is continuing to go here. I'm going to keep an eye out on that. Rigetti is taking out the high again, Katina Man. I don't know if you're still in Rigetti. The Katina Man is still long Rigetti. He's long at 1630. He's taking out the high of the day, Katina Man, at 18 and a fifth. He just posted a couple of sell orders. Oh, yeah.
That's a hot dog cannon.
Yeah, that's a money dropper.
Yeah, it's a hot dog cannon.
Send it to the Katina Man screen. He's going to show you his long. There goes NRXP. There it is. He's got bottom wick. He's got bottom wick there. VWAP, he says. Yeah, I was going to enter that trade with you when you took it, by the way, because I was sitting down and I should have, but, you know, we didn't, Katina, man. So, all right, it's time now, guys, for the Playmaker poll, baby.
Whoa, no, we didn't get the votes in. It's not till 1.
Hold on.
You got the.
There
okay,
it is.
there we. Okay, you're way ahead of me. You're way ahead of me here. Sharif, I'm going to vote shortly.
Go for it.
But we got Jarhead Trader. Sorry we missed out on your $5 super chat, my friend. FFIE wants to break that 430 high a day. Check it out. Triple top.
Okay.
We got you. And once again, apologies for missing out on that. We didn't see that because if we see those super chats of Jarhead, we are definitely going to assess what you are asking. So let's zoom in a little bit here, folks, and see what we got going on before we get back to the Playmaker poll, because that is equally as important, in my opinion. Triple top. Okay, yeah, I see what you're looking at here. Like your analysis, exactly that. We go to test those highs of days multiple times and then have the inability to break, and sure enough, we sell off. Nice look there, really nice short there, Jarhead Trader, especially if you took that trade. Really nice analysis too. You see those 3 touches on the 5-minute chart, having the inability to break that high of day and continue and make a new high of day. Good look. Really, really like that analysis. Thank you, Jarhead, once again for the $5 super chat. But back to the main chat here. Sharif, last week was the tightest race in the Playmaker poll. It was literally neck and neck. Yeah, I've never seen it like that. It was 50-50 leading into the final minutes of the poll being up. I don't know if that's going to be the case today. Did I vote? I didn't.
I don't know.
Let's see what we got going on here. I don't know what I want to do here. But I did it. I did it. I hit it. Yeah, I hit long too.
I'm with you on that.
I hit long too, folks. 200 votes. Make sure you guys get those in. You know we like to hit that 1K target. So fantastic time with this stuff. I think we're going to do a little bit more with this as well too. And then maybe, I don't know, Sharif, maybe next week or the following week, we do kind of a switch up and then we do an options contract play. So I can look at the chain, right? And then we just mark it down from a chain perspective. So yeah, that's fun. Maybe we're going to do that next week, guys. So we'll finish off this week and then come Monday, we turn it into a single options contract. It's still the same thing.
Yeah.
We're just changing our vehicle essentially. So we'll just go what we're in. Let's know if you guys are in on that as well too. I think that would be really fun. We'll do that for a week and then we'll just get back to the standardized Playmaker poll. But that's FFIE. Thank you, Jarhead, once again. And here we are on AMD, guys. What I mentioned before here is that I thought this pullback was going to be slightly, 70 something. What do we need here? Wow. Let's go.
Less than 100, man.
Less than 100,
guys.
man.
If you guys are watching right now and you're not subscribed, well, there's a couple of bad things about that. One, you can't participate in the chat. It's a subs-only chat. That's why. And the other thing is, we'd love for you to help out the channel because literally almost everything that we do is thrown back, or that we make, I should say, is thrown back into the show. Got a lot of plans, hopefully, for this year that we're able to manifest. We're really doing the absolute most in a good way. What
Look what Lewis Jackson said.
Okay. Thanks, Lewis. I appreciate you, bro.
Much appreciated.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
In any event, I'm not wasting time on clowns like that, but really to tell you guys that, we do really put everything that we can into the show. And so if you guys can give back by subscribing, it obviously helps with the algorithm and with everything in the show. Yep. So I'm going to thank you guys in advance. Even if you don't like and sub, I'm going to thank you anyway. Sorry, Andre?
Sharing?
Sharing? Yeah. We gotta tell them, smash the like, share. If you have a friend, maybe they're not really day traders, but they're interested in the market. We do a lot of, obviously, market coverage as well. Share the stream. It really does help with the algorithm. I'm sure you guys already know about that.
Oh, Robert Woods, thank you. Welcome to Trader TV Live, #1. Much appreciated. And guys, keep sending me those coins. Please, I'll take as many of those coins as I possibly can. Yeah, we're going up. 923. 70.
All right, so let's talk a little trading over here because things are starting to happen. SPCE, so this is the one that we were involved in into the high of the day there. Now, this is going to lose its spot on my side chart, and the reason is it broke down below VWAP. So my rules for these small cap gappers are super simple. They need a definable pre-market high. They have to be trading above that definable pre-market high. In addition to that, they also have to be above the volume weighted average price. This has obviously got a couple of things there that are going for it. Now it's lost that last rule, which is trading above the volume weighted average price. And quite frankly, even if it recovers here, I'm going to be suspicious of this name. The reason is when it had breached VWAP on prior occasions, number one, they were higher lows, and number two, they were quick wicks and then move back up above the volume weighted average price for the closing print. We're decidedly below it right now, about 75 pennies below. I'm talking about the SPCE. It's up 74%. It's a good look, but it's giving some back now, so a bit of a concern there. Now, your boy Rigetti did dip into 18, and it breached 18, but look where it ended up finding support. Surprise, dang, surprise. That 10 exponential moving average on the 5, one that, I always use with these small cap gappers, even if, technically Rigetti is no longer a small cap gapper, certainly trades like one because it's in vogue with the rest of the quantum names. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. If it wants to hold that 10 exponential, I could certainly be convinced to get in there. Now, VSTM, we're 1 or 2 pennies out of the money on this one. I am concerned about VSTM. I'll tell you why, because we're putting in lower highs. But we seem to have kind of found some support at the 20 exponential moving average, which is the yellow solid line on my chart over here. If we can hold up here and start curling, I think we could definitely get, a parabolic move to the high side. But if we fail, we fail. You good? Or you want to mention something?
No, was I doing something? No, I think I was just cracking my fingers.
Yeah, so if we don't get that move up here on VSTM, that is going to be a bit of an issue. Now, NITO, this one we were involved with earlier at the volume weighted average price. It's a stock that started out its life at about 25 pennies today. It was able to get to $1.19. It's doing the dance with absolutely no shoes or pants with that $1 area right now, a little bit above, a little bit below, kind of looking double toppy here, maybe off that $1.14 top that it put in. I'm going to let this one cook. Clearly, I didn't have a good read on it earlier, so I'm just going to leave that one. If it wants to start trending to the high side, then we'll give it another look there. So those are the small cap gappers I'm keeping my eye on right now. I could absolutely be persuaded to get back into NRXP. I got out at the high of the day, but it has now moved back into that 10 exponential moving average on the 5. If it holds this area, well then, I'm going to get back in. What I'll do is I'll wait for the first 5-minute candle to make a new high above the previous candle. So this one's red right now. If this holds a 10 exponential, prints and closes a new green candle that closes above the previous 5-minute candle, I can certainly be persuaded to get into NRXP there. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Also, somebody was telling me LUNR is strong on the day. Sure, it kind of went red to green there on the open, dipped into Redsville, defended 17 3/4, and then boom, went the dynamite back up to 21 off the highs right now, trying to possibly curl back into that $20 area. Now, this could be an interesting pickup here. If $20 and VWAP act as a level of support, and right now on LUNR, they are one and the same. The $20 area, VWAP area, the same area on the chart, so it could be an interesting area of support here on Lunar. I haven't taken any trades off it right now, but I will certainly keep my eye out on that. Randy, you wanna weasel in for a couple of questions? All right, guys, Randy's gonna weasel in for a couple of questions. So Randy, I've been watching Rivian, and Rivian's been getting shellacked. And I'm assuming, it's been a tougher road for Rivian with the lower highs because the street is expecting a different catalyst, Randy. We need that R2 to kind of boost production, boost sales, boost revenue. Any word from your sources about when we could be expecting the R2?
Crickets, man. It's crickets. I mean, honestly, Georgia is their big priority right now. That new plant in the state of Georgia, they've got to get that off the ground, get these new models out the door. Yes, there was state investment there. Yes, we've got Volkswagen investment. Yes, we've got federal investment, but the wheels turn slowly, my friend. So is this going to be the year? I hope so. They're a little behind in orders on the vans and whatnot. Production numbers are key. But the flip side of that is how much capital are they spending on? Yes, the new plant. to get it up and running. Number two, the people that need to run the plant.
Right.
You have to hire all these people, suppliers, logistics, the whole 9 yards. Then you've got the actual research and development of the models themselves, which I'm assuming is in large part almost complete. Crash safety, blah, blah, blah,
right.
Getting everything certified at the door. There's a lot of wheels in motion here. Lots and lots of cash.
Sure.
Their cash burn has been, for the last 9 months, my biggest target. Not just production numbers. You've got to watch how much cash you're burning. They are a startup.
For sure.
Okay? We don't want to have them go the way of Fisker.
The other month, right? Yeah.
We cannot have them go the way of Fisker. So how RJ is managing to balance this in and out is the big thing. So yes, everybody's anticipating we need more numbers. We need more cars. Want some positivity there. Big plans take time to execute.
Agree.
So give them a little bit of runway.
I got another question for you. So we saw the Tesla deliveries today.
Yep.
A little underwhelming.
Yep.
It missed the street's expectations. They missed their own guidance.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that we were talking about when you were on vacation is Juniper, which is a code name for the new Model Y, been spotted everywhere, Randy. California, near Fairmont, in Texas, near Austin. It's obviously covered front and back so they can hide the light bar and hide the front. But the new Model Y on the precipice of being released, do you think, a couple of questions for you here based on that, the weak numbers were in anticipation of people wanting to buy the new Model Y as opposed to going for the old one, which is kind of what we saw with the Model 3. Their sales dipped before we saw the new Model 3 release. And number two, does this kind of move the needle for them? Is it enough just to move or to revamp the Model Y, or do we need that Model 2 to move the needle?
I think, question number one, I think that every car model cycle does this. So your F-150, for example, one of the best-selling vehicles out there,
right?
As it ages, as the platform not becomes obsolete, but as the model ages, everybody wants the new model. When's the new toy coming out? So when you start seeing prototypes and you start seeing testing and by the magazines and the critics and stuff, gets people excited. They discount the older models, put them on dealer lots. The new ones come and out the door. Does it temporarily move the needle?
Yeah.
Yes. Does it long-term move the needle? Not so much. Why? We have potentially a lot of EV tax credits going away and possibly never coming back. That's going to affect price.
Very interesting.
The Highland, which is the refresh of the 3, has done well. Is there a huge number on the road? No. There's still loads and loads and loads.
But
there's
definitely not that many, no.
But there's mostly the older models on the road. It's in production, but it will happen over time. It's the evolution of the particular model. But is it going to move the needle? Again, short term, yes. Long term,
no.
I don't think so. They need
that Model 2.
Well, without the tax credits, price goes up.
Right. Well, yeah, $7,500 worth.
Right. So, and that's sales here. In Europe, that could go the same route. So overall sales are pressured without tax credits. That hurts the bottom line because then the numbers start to drop. So
you hear the latest news that the Cybertruck actually qualified for the the cheapest version?
Yeah,
and it qualifies now for the $7,500, which I thought to be hilarious. Like, this is like a high-end car here. Why does it qualify for $75? But why is the government subsidizing that? But that's the way it is down there.
It's the rolling doorstop with the subsidy. I got a chuckle out of that too. But it's going to be an interesting year. Times are going to get a little tougher, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking a bit of a tougher year for EVs in 25?
I think overall, yeah. We still have supply chain cost issues. You and I talked back in October, and you asked me if there was going to be a bit of pullback on Tesla.
Right.
I think there's going to be. I think Sean and I were just chatting here. They've had a great run this fall. It's been fun to trade. Is the party over? No.
No.
But I don't think it's going to be potentially as rosy as it's been.
You guys heard it from the man
himself.
And I'd love to talk to this guy about it because he does have information that we do not have. Randy. A midday Randy's rant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always thought about different
I like
names.
That one there. That's a good one. The midday.
But like, he's not
Randy.
ranting. He's dropping hot lines. That's why it's kind of not work.
So maybe we get him fired up before.
The Randy rundown. Okay, the Randy EV rundown.
All right.
Okay.
But Sharif,
yes, Joseph.
Have you seen the market? Like
everybody's talking about it. People are asking Adara what's going on.
It's absolutely tanking. Adara has some news. We're going to hear from her over there at the big desk.
The market, Katina, man. Yeah.
There's no news here. We're just pretty weak, but I'm going to take a moment to look at the small caps because IWM actually still positive on the day. The Russell 2000 up about 0.2%, so nothing you keep in mind. We were up more than 1% earlier today. Quite the fall down here for these markets. There are still some small caps to watch out for. NITO, which I know Sharif has mentioned, it's been on watch today. This one's still pushing higher, up about almost 400% here, 375% near day's highs with a float of 3.9 million shares. INDO on watch as well. This is worth noting here. This is a day's highs. This is that Indonesia Energy Corporation. This one has rallied in the past. I want to clarify, not a lot of volume yet. Under 700,000 shares traded on the day, but we know INDO can get going. It's a stock that's been traded on the midday, and I believe also on the main show in the past. INDO on the upside with a float of 8.14 million shares. 8.7% of that is going to be sold short. Some names to watch out for. RGTI, again, arguably not as much of a small cap, but always a name to keep an eye on. Just shy of a $5 billion market cap, 16.87% short float. It's worth noting, when this started rallying really intensely a couple weeks ago, it was above a 17% short float. So it looks like some shorts are potentially pulling back on RGTI. So even though there's a lot of weakness in the market, there's always some small caps raring to go. Back to you.
Appreciate you, Adara.
Whoa, was that an accident? Was that an accident?
Oh, then I like how the whole thing goes.
Yeah, like hot boxes.
And then all of a sudden, magically, he's disappeared. Shout out to Cindy. There he is.
Yeah, that's
What's going on? Is weed moving? What's going on over there?
PLRY?
Yeah. Weed is up. Oh, I didn't even notice this. All my marijuana stocks are up today.
Are they?
They're all green, Joseph.
Oh,
right?
green.
I mean,
all right, I see you, my guy. I see where you're getting
Yeah,
at with
no,
that
seriously. We got Tilray up 9%, knock on the door at 10. You have MSOS, the ETF, up 4 1/5. The MSOX. Where the hell did my MSOX go? All right, whatever. You got Cureleaf up 2%, Grow Generation 6.8, CGC up 5.5. So weed's moving. Not really sure what's going on. We'll keep an eye out for that and report on it if we do have more information. Okay, QSI. This did dip into the quarter dollar, and I did have a planned DCA there. We had been hanging out at the quarter dollar because of this level over here. And it did come into it. I did buy, and I did scalp out at the third of a dollar. I'm layering my orders now on QSI. I am concerned, though. It's below the 10 and it's below the 20. It's above VWAP, but it's kind of in no man's land over here. Not at a predictable area, so we'll have to wait and see if I got a weasel out of this one or what the situation is. Also, Rigetti made my arms super dang sweaty on that move right back down there. She gets excited. It dipped into 17, and I looked over at the Katina Man. I said, Katina Man, did you add at 17? It shot up back into the quarter dollar in a hot second. Well, guess what? It's right back down at 17, so it looks like it was possibly a dead cat bounce. It hasn't given up 17 yet, and we know 17 was a major area of resistance earlier for Rigetti because it did work up into that 17 area at 10:30, and then it rejected, went all the way back down to 16.25, only to take out 17 about 10, 20 minutes later. Here we go again at 17. Look, I'm going to let this one cook. It's obviously got an 18.25 HOD, so you don't need to be first in at 17 to have a nice retracement at least back halfway between 17 and that 18.25, the highs. If you give it at least halfway, that's a decent winner right there. So I want to keep my eye out on RGTI, see exactly what it does at this level. I could absolutely be persuaded to get back in, but I have to manage QSI because QSI is breaking down now into that quarter of a dollar. So I have my stop below the volume weighted average price on QSI, which is currently showing me 18s. We're printing 30s right now. So we've got some room between here and where my stop is, but I definitely need to be on the lookout, Joseph, for QSI headed down.
Big time down, and same with the overall market, dude. This is some pretty heavy selling right now. Kyle Burdett made a solid point. It's setting up really nicely for the Playmaker poll as well, too. Especially if we continue to sell for the next 15, 20 minutes or so. Are we going to get that bounce to the long side? Possibly, especially after this aggressive selling. But you can see the volume by time profile here, folks. That volume is really, really starting to pick up here. So just be wary of that. Don't look to catch any falling knife at this point. As of right now, I don't see any turnaround signals in sight. I was looking at one on Meta here real quick on the 5-minute chart as well too, but sure enough, that thesis was made invalid extremely quick once it broke the low and the overall market continued to move to the downside. So I was looking, okay, Meta, you know, we were looking at this price compression right here, looking to play it to whatever side it broke. Sure enough, it broke to the downside, and then we had this hammer, a little bit of a fake out here, but as soon as it breaks that low, thesis invalid. That low is no longer holding. Buyers have not stepped in and say, hey, this is as low as we're willing to go, and then step in to push the price higher. We broke that, and then when you see these types of prints being broken, there may be some more downside followed with that, okay? So just keep that in mind. And what I'm gonna say on the TQs right now, I'm gonna point out to you guys as well, but we're gonna zoom in a little bit here and pull up the 1-minute chart. Excuse me. So let's pull up the 1-minute chart here. Oh, that's a 2-minute, we don't want that. Okay, so now I'm looking at the 1-minute. It's essentially the same thing here. We had this extreme selling, we broke key support levels, flat bottom breaks, and headed to the downside with extreme momentum. Now you see all these indecision prints on the way down. Mind you, stick to the game plan. If they break to the downside, there can be more downside continued, all right? Keep that in mind. Now, I want to see if this next 1-minute print can hold. If it does not, thesis invalid, and then I can't look to play the bounce here on the TQs. But as of right now, we are slightly holding, and there we go. We broke to the downside, Sharif. This momentum is extremely, extremely strong. Apple is continuing to sell. NVDA has broke through VWAP and continuing to hold as well too, folks. So the MAG are dragging the market down with it. So sure enough, here we go. So what we got to do now is look for some of the top performing sectors with relative strength, such as XLF, the energy sector, and or even real estate to see if we are going to look for any continuation to the long side. I think we just need to be a little bit patient because with this consecutive selling, at some point, hopefully the market is going to bounce. Nothing is guaranteed, but just be really, really patient, pack your patience, hold those horses, and wait for those definitive signals to show up, and then you can look to take along. I am liking how NVDA is sitting up right now. We are getting those indecision candle prints on the lower time frame, which is extremely positive and something that you want to look out for in those reversal trades. So now that I think about it, let's see. So guys, this is what I'm going to set up here. 135.80 is going to be our out on NVDA. So we're going to look for a little bit of a bounce here on NVIDIA. Let's see if we get it. If we breach it to the downside, then we're at a dodge. We're not going to fight this trend. And that's one thing that I just mentioned not too long ago, guys. Be really, really decisive on your entries when the market is falling like this. You don't want to catch a falling knife and just stick to those game plans because if we continue to the downside, you don't want to hold on to a loser. As Neil says, it's okay to be wrong, but you don't want to be wrong for long.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Being wrong sucks. So you don't want to be wrong for like
and then
that
you'll
long.
be long, right? Yeah, exactly. Money,
All right, get it, Katina, man. I don't know what's going on that side, but we're taking profits here on Rigetti because we got the dip into 17. Now I'm waiting at the third of $1. Let's see if we can get in. Come on, bro. This has been the day where it keeps missing me by a penny. And like when that happens once, you're okay. When it keeps happening, you just want to smash the screen. At least I do. So we'll take out some more over here and we'll take out that so we can de-risk. So 11's now my price on Rigetti. Let's set up in the 40s. The reason I like the look on Rigetti right here is because it was bottoming tail into 17. It did breach it. It's above VWAP. It's above 17. It's above the a previous day's closing print. And we're getting kind of these candles that are being aggressively bought up off that level. So if that's going to be the case, we'll look to basically defend 17. But right now, coming right back down into my entry on Rigetti. QSI, I've got to make sure I'm keeping my eye on that one because it is coming into my my exit price over here. I've got my price at the volume weighted average price, and we just got stopped out for the remaining a very small amount on QSI. We'll stay positive on that one, but got stopped out for the remaining amount here on it. So let's now focus on Rigetti as it zigs and zags in that mid-teens to low 20s. Really unsure how this one resolves, whether we get a bounce off these levels or whether we drop below the low over here at 1690. So I've placed my order, my stop loss below the area trough, which I gauge to be about 1690. I put it in the high 80s. Let's see if this one wants to bounce up. Back into the $0.25 we go. I'm waiting in the mid 40s right now. We've seen Rigetti be quite volatile, both to the high side and the downside. I'll submit to you that downside moves are far more aggressive than upside moves. That is the majority of the case. Not a hard and fast rule, but it is generally the case that the selling will be more aggressive than the buying. At least the descents are a bit more aggressive than the ascents. So nicely in the money right now on Rigetti, but definitely not out of the woods, looking for something in the mid 40s. I'm keeping my eye on NITO. This is one that's up over 300%, and that one that we were trading earlier today too. But I did get stopped out of that because it did breach the volume weighted average price, and that is my rule. Now this one got up all the way to that $1.28 and then dipped back down, double bottoming on the 5-minute at the $1 area, which also happened to be the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. So NITO is in focus right now as it looks to defend that $1. Now, the other side of the coin for NITO is it could be a double top, right? We know the double tops don't have to be at the same price level. So this area crest over here, $1.19, this one $1.28. So yeah, great. You got a 2-candle hold up at the 1, but the other side of that coin is you need to be on the lookout for a possible NITO double top and a break of that 70 penny area. I want to say last time it held up at 69. So we'll see what we get there. So keeping my eye on NITO. It looks like it may want to defend that buck as it moves right back in to the low teens. I'm talking about NITO. All right, let's move back into Rigetti. Where's my trade on Rigetti? There it is. Print in the $0.33, but this one now, a 3-candle hold up above 17, but we're not getting the squeeze, at least not yet. Showing 35s now on the ask. I'm waiting in the mid 40s, so if we can get a squeeze, hopefully I'll get printed. 40 showing up now on the ask. A seller at 40s, taking them out. Let's see if we can eke out something over here in the mid 40s. I'm going to take it out there, cancel that order. Let's move up the order now to the north side of 50. For a break and take of the $0.50. So eking out, I should say, some profits here on your boy Rigetti off that $17 area, looking for a move back above the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 on RGTI, and by extension of that break and take of the 10, it will be a break and take of the $0.50. But look at the vigor with which this one's just sold off. Got a print in the mid 40s and down into the teens we go. Rigetti is going to looks like it's going to give up 17 again. Topping tail candle off the 10. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with this one. We're going to take it out, break even there for the last remaining amount. A lot of weakness right now stepping into this market. We'll keep an eye to see if Rigetti wants to hold up 17. This is an ugly candle that's forming right now with a new high above its previous candle. So if it doesn't hold up here, that's going to be awfully bearish. Moving back into VSTM, I got stopped. Where the hell is that? VSTM, I got stopped out of that as it did breach the volume weighted average, or it breached that $0.33, but now it's trying to defend VWAP. VWAP on VSTM at around 610. It did dip into 15s there. It still hasn't printed any new highs, so I don't want to take a dip trade on VSTM at these levels, but I am on the lookout for a hold up at VWAP. I could certainly be persuaded to get into that, Joseph.
Hold up. Oh, no. Okay, yeah. What isn't holding up here, my guy, is NVDA. We broke those lows, so I'm going to pop out of this trade. Don't want to hold on to this thing much longer. So, I mean, if it turns around, then we can look to get involved again. But as of right now, I don't love the price action on this. So I got to jump out of this trade here real quick, guys. That thesis is invalid, totally fine. This momentum to the downside is extremely strong. But let me pull up XLF here and just kind of build my general idea that I have on this. So I'm just looking for things that have relative strength and are a little bit stronger sectors So I'm going to use this vehicle, XLF, this ETF. You can see we have this indecision candle here on the 5 minute. So I'm essentially playing the bounce of that with the break of that to the top side. If we, again, same thing as NVDA, if we decide that we want to break this $48 on XLF, I'm at a dodge. I don't want any part of this until further price action tells me, okay, Joe, it's okay to get back in and take that second or third entry if it does show up. So we're going to sit here on XLF. I mean, the tech sector is extremely weak, continuing to sell here and heavy selling. So if anybody caught those longs on some of those key support level breaks, that are the shorts, sorry, on those key support level breaks, congratulations to you. And I know some people in the chat are like, why are you selling on the first day of the year, of the first market day of the year? I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. I guess people need some cash from all the partying that they did over the past couple of days, so they're looking to liquidate some of their positions. But no, in all seriousness, it is really, really weak here on the day. Looking for a bounce in XLF. Are we going to get it? Hopefully, it isn't selling off as strong as some of the other sectors are. So we're going to look for that relative strength and things that are somewhat stronger than the broader market. So that's why I'm using XLF as my vehicle. This is the financial sector ETF, like so JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, etc., and all those folks. So yeah, so the market deserves a 15% haircut. And a lot of people are saying that, Casey. I mean, everybody's saying we're primed for a 10% correction. And I mean, with the monster run that we've been on, and Sharif and I were talking about this, it's like back-to-back years of over 20% gains. So sure enough, again, just people taking profits, especially in Tesla and all these mega cap tech stocks. So just keep that in mind. And I do think it is a buy the dip type of opportunity, especially we are in somewhat of a I shouldn't say somewhat, we are in a multi-year bull market. So just keep that in mind as well too. There's plenty of tailwinds for the market to continue to move higher. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's some geopolitical tensions, but they aren't as rough as they were a couple years ago with the start of the Ukraine war and what's going on in the Middle East as well too. So just keep that in mind. From a headwind standpoint, yeah, we got tariffs coming in as well too, potentially with the Donald Trump administration. So we need to keep that in mind. But I think the fundamentals support some of these larger stocks to continue to move to the top side. So consistent, steady growth is something that we're looking for. And we do need the market to broaden as well too, folks. We can't just have the same 7 stocks leading the market higher and higher day after day. So again, if we do get that market breadth in the coming months as we roll into the new year and continue to have our sessions here, let's see if that market breadth widens. And then sure enough, I think that'll be enough tailwinds to drag this market higher. Sharif.
Yes, sir. Just putting in my stops over here for my positions. A new position right now. Got into NITO, see for a continuation. Also took a QSI dip trade, smaller size on this one, as this one is a VWAP bounce on QSI. But I'm keeping my eye on Rigetti. Right now, it's still zigging, still zagging, still above VWAP, but no real decisive direction from Rigetti right now. It's just hanging out above the volume weighted average price, essentially at that $17 area. Now, this could be an interesting area to start building your position and then have your stop below the volume weighted average price so you can kind of manage risk in that sense. So, yeah, it's a little volatile at the moment, so I'm just going to let that cook. The other positions that I've got on right now, VSTM got into that one at 11s at the volume weighted average price. It's showing me 14s right now. I've layered my orders on this one. Anything below 6, it's over with that one. Keeping an eye on that. QSI, as I mentioned, it dipped into VWAP. So this is a VWAP trade with a tight stop. Let's see if this one wants to bounce back up. Showing me 25s now, trying to hold above the volume weighted average price. I'm also in NITO because this one's been holding up above the buck. Where's my NITO screen? Sorry, there we go. Now we're taking some profits here on NITO. Where did we get in 7s? Just with the beak there at 13s. I'm layering my orders for a move possibly into that high of day. The high of the day is $1.28. The reason I like it at this level is because it's holding up at the 10 exponential. It's putting in technically higher lows with each successive 5-minute candle a little bit higher than its predecessor. There we go. We break through the high there. Can we print at 16? Seller at 16. There we go. We got the print. 18s now being taken out. 19s being taken out. I'm waiting at 20s for the next move. Again, this is a case in point for why you should have resting orders for exactly this reason. Let's see if this one wants to continue to the high side. I'm waiting at 20 exactly. It showed me 19s for a hot second. No print there. Here we go. 19s again. Size at 20 and size at 19. We get the break. Good move up here on NITO. And there we go. Bang, through the roof there. Appreciate you. Looks like we might halt here at $1.27. We're long 107s. False halt into 127. Down we go into that $0.25 again. This thing's up 400%. So this thing can go. We know that, right? So let's see exactly where it's going to go right now. NITO, it's going to halt at 26s over here unless it's going to be another false halt. Looks like it's going to be another false halt right now. Let's see. Zagging. Nope. There it goes into 28s now. High of the day. There goes 30s into the high of the day. Seller at 30. Big size here on the book. And I bet you anything, iceberg as well. And there goes 30. We're showing 31s. It's good. Okay, I thought it was going to halt at 31s. It keeps false halting. So
whoa, you're
whatever, bro.
You're in a banger.
Hey, not a bad move there. Let's see what else is going on here. QSI defending, not in RXP. There we go. We got the print on VSTM. We're long there at 11s. Just got the print at 20s. Now waiting at 25. So we'll let that cook, see what's going on there. Back to NITO as we continue to zig and zag with that 30 penny area. Looks like we're going to topping tail and we're dropping aggressively here. To be expected with this one, it's up 400 some odd %, and the volatility is coming out in spades on this one, baby. So we're going to keep an eye on this one, Joseph. What do you got?
Yeah. I'm sitting in this XLF trade. I told you guys, I'm just looking for things with relative strength. We're playing those bottoming signals, and then we're getting that little bit of a pullback here in XLF, folks. So I'm also in the TQs as well. Let's see if we get that. But it's essentially the same thing. Like it's the same trade, the same signals. I mean, the market doesn't always turn around on a dime. And when it does, those signals will present itself a large amount of the time. So just keep that in mind. Have the ability to identify these signals, and I think that's going to help your trading a lot. And that's why I kind of brought to you guys the volume price analysis. That's a key metric to my trading and how I enter and exit positions. So hopefully a lot of you guys, I know a lot of people in the chat have been reading that book. If anybody else bought it, that'd be fantastic to know. And if you enjoyed it, and if you have read it, and have you implemented it in your trading, have you used it? Has it had a positive or negative impact on your trading? I'd be really curious to know that. And please let me know in the chat. I'll be sure to reply to everything that I can on the session, guys. But yeah, here we go. The market is slowly starting to pull back. We got 5 minutes left until we document. I think it's like our 15th or 16th trade. We're sitting over 1,000 votes on it so far. So really nice work, folks. I'm enjoying this a lot, as I say over and over again. But this is going to be our 17th trade, all right? Let me pull it up here. This is going to be our 17th trade here. We got something to work on here. You know what? I promise you guys I'm going to do that. So when I get home after my hockey game this evening, I'm going to look and see, really dive in and see what happened here from a data collective standpoint, because something is just off. So I have to go through kind of our previous trades and then see what and where we went wrong there. But 17 trades. We took 2 L's in a row, which is it's unfortunate, I guess. Unfortunate. But anyways, but yeah, guys, but let's see what from an accuracy standpoint where we're sitting at. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so yeah, again, we're still sitting in that 50% range, which is absolutely phenomenal, and still positive here in the Playmaker pool, which is extremely interesting. Yeah, and this is why we do it, right? Because 50% win rate here and still positive, essentially just buying SPY at 1 o'clock and then exiting at 2 o'clock if we either before we hit our price target or we get stopped out. So that's really interesting. And I mentioned time and time again, this is why you document this type of data to see where you can be profitable and where you're not, right? And I remember someone in the chat said, well, I don't want to see my losses.
What?
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's what I said. I said, well, this is why we do it, because imagine we were 0 for 16 here, right? And it's like, okay, well, maybe this isn't the best idea to enter a SPY trade at 1 o'clock and then get out at 2 o'clock.
Look, I know it's like emotionally painful looking at your losses. You don't want to relive that garbage. You know, you don't feel great about yourself. But if you're not looking over your trades, how can you possibly expect to learn from your mistakes? I mean, like,
you can't eliminate them, right? Like, and I said that it's like, okay, break your trading down into time frames, right? So you have the morning session 9:30 to 11, 11 to 2, 2 to 4, and then see where you're the most profitable. And doing a system like this is where you have the ability to identify those.
100%, Joseph. I mean, we always read the eSignal ad read. Shout out to eSignal, obviously a sponsor of the show, and they got back testing. I mean, why do you think they got back testing? Obviously, it's got, you know, you guys get it. I don't have to wax poetic about that. You understand. All right. 2 positions I took out. I'm done with my Nitto trade. We almost got top wick. We got 33s. High of the day is 35s. It's zigging. It's zagging right now. Look, if it comes back in and touches a 10 exponential like it did last time, I'll be persuaded absolutely to get in. Right now, it does look like it's defending that $1.20 area, and that $1.20 area is a level of importance because at 10:30 we rejected basically an area crest off that $1.20, and all the way down we went back into 70 pennies. So that 120. Right now, it's acting as a local area of support. It was obviously previously resistance. We're in 2 other trade, VSTM and QSI. Only reason I'm in these trades is because they're big movers and they've retraced back into the volume weighted average price. It's not a guarantee by any means that they bounce, but what it does do is it gives you a general area to say, okay, if it breaches this area, I'm gone. Because if you're what you perceive to be in at the low, well, then if it breaches that area, you know, you don't really need to kind of consider, oh, what do I do here? No, it's kind of the decision made for you there. So that's kind of why I'm in VSTM at this level. And then we got another exit there at VSTM. So we're long 611s, 618s, 623s. We took out some there. Let's set up more orders. I'm going to front run the size or the level at 30. Now, I perceive to be some resistance here on VSTM at 30s. There is a 10 and the 20. They're both hanging out at that 30 level. Here come 27s on the level 2. There are 27s. Let's see if we can get 29s. That's where I'm leading here on VSTM. Let me see my position on this one. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We can let this one run a little bit. VSTM holding the dang volume weighted average price, but by no means am I out of I don't know. Joseph, what am I trying to say here?
I don't even know, man.
I don't know, bro.
In here, man.
I'm out of the woods. Thank you, Katina, man. Yeah, I couldn't speak there for a second. I do apologize. All right, so back to QSI as well. We're involved in this one at the $0.25. Back to the $0.25 goes. It's a 3-candle holdup right now. A 4-candle holdup on the 5-minute chart at VWAP. So I am hopeful with this one. I hate to use the word hopeful, but you know, we'll wait and see. Here comes 30s. I'm waiting at 30s here on QSI. Seller at 29s, and then there is posted size at the 30 penny level here on QSI. A good hold up at VWAP, but we didn't get the print quite yet. Back to VSTM. Did we get that print? Yes, we did. Bang! At the 29 penny area. Let's set up now at 36 is over here to front run. Oh, no, that's the wrong area. There's selling definitely at 35. That is not the right area. I'm going to move it down into 34s because that will front run the size at 35s. Let's see if we can get it there. Back to QSI. What are we doing here on QSI? Nothing printing yet. We showed 30s there momentarily on the level 2, but zigging and zagging we go. No forthcoming move to the high side quite yet. So pack my patience there. Keeping my eye on Rigetti. Arms are sweaty right now. Ooh. Still, Joseph, hanging out at that $17 area. Neither making highs nor making lows. Kind of a random, well, I don't want to say that's a random area. Absolutely makes sense that it's holding up here. You have an area crest rejection there. You also had 17 act as a level of resistance initially. You also have VWAP, just a couple of pennies, about 16 or so pennies, south of $17. So it is holding up above VWAP, but having issues retaking that $17 area. Adara is at the big desk.
Hey, yo.
We're going to take a look here at Bitcoin for our crypto segment. This is BTC on the monthly chart because, you know, we're starting a new month and a new year. I thought it might be fun to take a look. This is quite the topping tail candle here for December with these new all-time highs. above that 108,000 level. Then we end up closing here actually down in the month around 93,000. But if you pull back, it actually is a pretty bullish look here on the monthly chart. You've got that rounded bottom here on BTC after making this double top around that 60,000 level. Then you get this push to the upside, a bit of a bull flag. Now it looks like we could be forming another bull flag on the monthly chart. And it's also worth noting here, I'm seeing some comments here from some crypto commentators on what dates we're going to be watching here. We know the incoming Trump administration is viewed as pretty bullish for crypto, and there's actually been 3 dates highlighted as potential dates for crypto to make big moves. The first is actually tomorrow, January 3rd. That's when we're going to have basically have the 119th Congress convene. We know this Congress is viewed as hugely pro-crypto because there are a lot of pro-crypto lobbyists involved, so tomorrow could be a date to watch. The other date on watch is, of course, going to be Trump's inauguration on January 20th. January 20th is also the day that Gary Gensler officially steps down from the SEC, which is, of course, has been viewed as very bullish for crypto. And last but not least, another date that's being watched here is April 30th. That would be the end of Trump's first 100 days in his second presidential term. And this is also basically viewed as a day that there could be some passing of crypto legislation. At least this is in talks. Apparently, Republican Majority Leader Steve Scalise intends to pass some undisclosed crypto legislation within the first 100 days of Trump's presidency. So keep an eye on January 3rd, January 20th, and April 30th, according to some crypto commentators, for big moves in the crypto space. And again, make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content, because we're bringing it to you every single day. With that in mind, also take the time to check out our Trader TV research account on X. I've been making some new original graphics on this account, and we actually just made a graphic here on Tesla delivery. So if you want to really see the epic rise of Tesla deliveries from 32,000 in 2014 to just shy of 2 million, take a look at that. TTV Research is the IS handle on X. Keep an eye out. Back to you.
Shout out to the human algo. Love that, what's it called? The chart there of Tesla, because it was literally, I think, ever in their history that they dropped deliveries year over year. That's not a good look. No, it was a marginal miss, right?
Ooh.
But yeah, you don't want to, yeah, okay. We're 60 members or subs, I should say, excuse me, Joseph, away from 490,000. Okay, I'll go for that. So again, guys, I hate to, keep pounding this point, but if you are not liking, if you are not subscribing, and you are not sharing, I think you're doing your own self a disservice, not just us, because everything we get, we throw back into the channel. That is literally the case, and more, and plus more. Okay, so now everything we get, and then in addition to that, we're really trying to expand the channel, everything we've got. So, obviously it does it a lot of good by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Helps the algorithm and helps boost the channel, Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, totally too. And if you're not subscribed, you can't write in the chat. And if you have any questions, how are we supposed to answer them?
Yeah.
If you're not subscribed to the chat, so just put it in there. Subscribe, guys. It's just a click of the button, as Sharif mentioned. It definitely helps us out a lot too on the channel.
And they can't troll either.
They can't troll. Yeah,
you can't troll. Like, if you have anything negative that you want to say to Joseph or I.
Yeah, like Lewis.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Such a hater, bro. I love it.
Yeah, it's all good, man. We love it.
We got a couple of super chats.
All right, bang.
And my man, the spiled one, dropping the cash $10 in the chat. Never too early for Halloween. Got the Michael Burry mask on and the Metallica blaring. Bring the blood. The dude wants blood in the street every day. I love you, Big Spile, and I'm never going to hate on the fact that you want the market to burn. It doesn't matter to me because I love you just the way you are. Shout out to Big Kyle Burdett.
Sharif, we forgot.
There's another one, baby.
Oh, you go? Okay, finish it up there, my guy. Sorry.
Be free. As opposed to, being locked up.
Being locked
or,
up.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Locked up. Yes, Joseph.
You had to sing that.
There we go.
Up, let's go.
Be free, $2 super chat. Nuke, N-U-K-K, hit $30. Selling half, holding for 20. Get it, my man. Let's have a look at N-U-K-K for Be Free. So this is the daily look if it wants to load. I don't know why it doesn't want to load. Let's look at the 5. Okay, so Nuke. Yeah, you know what I'm going to say. It's getting nuked to the downside, baby, and it's moving down big, 18.75% on the $99 million market cap name, dropping below that 100 milli on the day with a big move down. It closed out Tuesday at 36 2/3. We are now below $30 at the low day, 28.90. look, bro, I don't know if this one keeps bleeding in the way that you'd like. You know, I can't really see the daily chart for whatever reason. I do apologize for that. But look, it's a great look by you. Let me know how it goes. Certainly going to keep my eye out on Nuke. I don't usually take these small cap gappers short, but could be absolutely persuaded for that one. All right, Eric McCambly. Sharif, serious question. What is your outlook to getting into the energy sector stocks this year with Trump getting back into office? Great question. Look, I have seen no movement from the traditional energy stocks. I'm talking about your XOM, your CVX, your Occidental. They don't really seem to be moving all that much. I think they don't really need a barrel above the current area where we have it now to make money. I think they make money between $40 to $60 or $35. Last time I heard to $60. They're golden there. So what I am looking at, though, not your traditional energy plays, but your nuclear energy specifically for the data, the AI data center build out. I think that is a good play. Obviously, we've been watching SMR, Constellation Energy. There's been other other ones as well. That's the one that I'd like to get into. I know that there was a trade, like a day trade that you could have had because those stocks were so volatile, but I think it is actually a good opportunity to get into for the long term. Talking, that 1-2 more year horizon rather than just a swing. I'm talking about your Constellation Energies as well. If you don't really want to pick winners, there are ETFs, specifically nuclear ETF. There's SMR. I know that's an ETF. No, hold on. That's not an ETF, is it? No, that's actually a New Scale Power, which is SMR. I forget the ETFs. I can look them up for you once Joseph takes over. URA, is that a SMR ETF? Yeah, it's uranium. Okay, yeah, but that's the uranium, Katina, man. Yeah, uranium index. Yeah. No, that's not the one I'm looking at. I'm looking for nuclear ETFs. Just ETFs from like a VanEck, something like that.
VanEck, yeah.
Your URA, the Katina man is letting me know, is a uranium ETF. So if you want exposure to the commodity itself through an ETF, that's obviously a good way to do it. I happen to be of the opinion that I'd like to invest in the company that takes the commodity and then makes profit from the commodity. I mean, just commodities are so volatile. So that's kind of my thinking there. I personally be looking to get into that. But great question for you. I don't know, man. I don't see the movement right now on these oil plays. Like you have Oxy above $50 again. XOM is above 100. CVX is below 150. So I mean, I don't know. There's indecision right now, personally. The Katina man is telling me something. NLR, there we go. Is that the VanEck? I knew it, Katina man. NLR is the ETF I'm thinking about there. So this fund seeks to replicate as closely as possible before fees and expenses the price and yield performance of the MVIS Global Uranium and Nuclear Energy Index, which includes equity securities of companies involved in uranium and nuclear energy. The fund invests at least 80% of its assets in securities of the index. Okay, so you're not going to have one of these ones that holds cash and stuff like that, which is kind of bewildering to me. In any event, great question though, brother, because it's one that I've been pondering myself. I still haven't worked my way in to any of these ETFs. T-Money, Sharif, nah. But I'm in QSI long-term investment portfolio from 157 and Holo from 227. Get it, my man. I hope you print up a storm. I think you've got a couple of great names under your belt there. Hopefully they continue to run for you when you print up multiple storms. I mean, what else is there to say? I don't want you to lose money. So shout out to you. Joseph, what do you got?
Sharif, it's that time, my guy. The Playmaker poll. We got to log this trade here. The 17th one. Overall, I know you got some things going on over there. But, guys, entry price, exit price, target prices, and stop losses, we're going to look to document those right now. So, a lot going on. We got our entry price here, folks, of $581.97. All right? Ooh. So then we got a profit target of $583.97. And then exit price, we don't know that yet, but our stop loss is going to be at $580.97, folks. And there it is, documented. Let's see what happens come 2 o'clock and see if we become profitable on this one. We are on a 2-day skid here. It's kind of like, speaking of skids, Team Canada.
Yeah, what happened there, Joseph?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think they need to call me.
Latvia?
They need to call me.
The states I could get. It was an ass whipping.
It was a
beating.
It was a beating. It wasn't even close. Flushed it down. It was a rinse.
No?
Yeah, it was a rinse.
So 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. But I mean, the game wasn't like
I know, but it was an empty netter.
Arch rivals to the fullest. If only I was 18 again or 17.
You can get him, baby.
Call me up.
Hey.
I'll do my best. I would stand no chance.
What's the highest level you played at?
I played like just under single A, so it's not house league.
Select?
It's select. It's the AE. Yeah, nice. Exactly. So yeah, there's no chance I would make that team. But hey, you never know. If we go back in time, maybe eventually we'll see what's going. My cousin actually plays in the queue.
Really?
Yeah, shout out to my cousin Ty. Yeah, so
Ty, get it.
Yeah,
Ty.
he plays in the queue. Stud defenseman.
Really?
Yeah, big time. Yeah, big time stud defenseman. And he's been there. I think he's in his final year in the queue. In the Q JMHL, folks who don't know, that's just kind of like our major, or not our minor, but our whatever it is I'm getting at there. But again, next step is the show for him. It's looking like, so congratulations to him. He's been working hard his whole life playing hockey. So yeah, he's in the queue.
Shout out
to Ty. There's no way he's watching right now. He's probably busy. He's on the ice himself. I don't know if the season's over, but yeah, he's him and his dad are big hockey people. So my uncle, yeah.
Joseph, I want to thank Adam Dang DeLuce for dropping free memberships, and shout out to Nimrod.
Oh, no, Nimrod. We'll call him.
Nimrod.
Yeah.
Whatever, bro. He gifted 5 Trader TV Live memberships. Thank you to these guys dropping the cash in the chat. Obviously, viewers of the show will know ADL Adam DeLuce did visit the studio back in October, and we loved having him around. He met with the Katina man at the Jays game. Him and I went out. We watched the Champions League. We watched Arsenal shellac Paris Saint-Germain there. So viewers of the show will know ADL and Nimrod as well, because they are both chat OGs. So we love them, and we want to shout them out. Thank you very much for dropping the cash and gifting the memberships right now. All right, guys, let's talk about this trade that I got on. VSTM, we went long at the dip into the volume weighted average price, and it's been a print symphony right now. We took at the last little print there at 42s. Now I'm waiting at 46s. It is having trouble with this 40 penny area. It's doing this weird 3-candle topping tail setup. I'm unsure how to digest this candle setup over here, because it's basically 3 times now we've tried to break that level only to be met with selling, either shorts reshorting or instituting a short, or profit taking off these levels. We'll have to wait and see. VSTM though bouncing off the volume weighted average price and trying to do another move back up. The other one that I've got, QSI. It's also got how many candles off VWAP now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one's a little far from VWAP. A 6-candle hold up at the volume weighted average price. I'm looking for this one to curl and really get going there. The Katina man's yelling at these stocks, baby. He's short NVIDIA. He was $1 in the money. I saw it. And he reloaded at the highs. Get it, Katina man. He's printing up a storm on that side, trading the Mag 7 today. I'm keeping my eye on these small cap gappers. They've been treating me well lately. We're going to keep an eye on that 3 1/3. That's the next level. I want to take up profits here on QSI. It's up about 21.5% on the day, but well off the highs right now. NITO continues to whiffle and waffle at that $1.33, but if I could make the case for the bull case, that is, for this name, every single time we dip into the dang 10 exponential subsequent to 1150, we've bounced off. So this one, if you're trying to put the odds in your favor, the best entry, in my humble submission, is off that 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. On my charts, you'll always see it as that green solid line of the black chart side. In fact, on both charts, even the white chart as well, you're going to see it as green. I always keep the color combination the same. So that's what I'm looking at right now, Joseph. No real new small cap gappers making their way onto the scene. I'm looking at my scanner on my top screen over here. Nothing to my liking. This all displeases me, as they're all very lightly traded or, doing nothing. So no new small cap gappers de novo, guys, midday. We'll keep an eye out for some more. What do you got, Joseph?
Yeah, good stuff there. I seen somebody in the chat, Sharif, Menzi something. Sorry, I forget your name, and I don't want to mispronounce it. So you said, why don't we do some more lessons, etc. Well, we do, and I've seen that you're new sub too as well. So just keep in mind, thanks for the sub first of all, but check the first 15 minutes of Sharif and I's sessions. You'll notice that we have different topics and subjects every day. So one day I'm doing something on options or strategies, Sharif's doing indicators, his strategies, etc. And just watch the first 15 minutes of every midday show, because we have those lessons there for you. If you're looking for anything in particular with options or specific indicators, if you just type it into the search, the chances are you're going to find it. So just go back, watch the first 15 minutes of our sessions, and sure enough, you'll see that we have those lessons there for you. So hopefully you take advantage of that, because there's some really quality material. And I mean, this is years of experience. We've been doing this for a long time. I'm going into year 4 now as well too. So just really keep that in mind. But yeah, exactly. So just everything we gathered, all the books, and there's just the screen time of experience is just kind of put into those lessons for you guys. So hopefully, I know a lot of people enjoy them. So hopefully you go back and look at those and gain something from them, because there's a lot of good material on that front there. So keep that in mind. Yeah, so guys, let's see what the overall market is. We are still slowly leaking to the downside. Meta is slowly cooled off, now forming a little bit of a consolidation phase. But as you can see, guys, these signals that I mentioned before, sometimes they don't work to exactly how you would expect them to, and that's totally fine. Just respect the price action, all right? You have those signals. Sometimes the pullbacks, when you're trying to catch this momentum to the downside, aren't that deep, right? And then you head back into the direction of the primary trend. So just keep that in mind. If you see those signals from a reversal standpoint, just keep in mind that it may not be as deep of a pullback or a full-on reversal as you're expecting. So just get those price targets, have your trade plan in place, and sure enough, you'll be able to execute time and time again and give yourself the ability to enter the trade multiple times if need be. Joe, Sharif, a good tool is to go back and watch all those old streams, or go back and listen to times when big moves happen and how I could have managed better. No, exactly, Kyle, and that's the whole point. A lot of this is trial and error, and you just need to rinse and repeat and refine your system over and over again. This isn't a skill that can be acquired in a matter of months. It takes time, and it takes a lot of screen time. And with that is you only have so many hours a day to watch the market. So that's why I tell a lot of people, screen record or give yourself a platform that allows you to go back in past dates and practice execution, practice watching the tape, practice running days through and see when a bullish session can happen or a bearish session, etc. So a lot to go through here with trading, and a lot of those options. Well, not here, Christopher. We don't trade options on the floor, so just not here. But yeah, again, no one ever uses the word mind. So anyway, thanks, iPhone. Yeah, exactly. There you go. But yeah, guys, here I'm out of XLF. We got stopped out break even here. I think I'm going to take another entry here on the TQs, just because we put in this potential triple bottom and we had the inability to break these lows. So we're kind of in this consolidation phase that I'm going to look to try to take advantage of. I didn't catch the bottom of the range, or nor am I going to catch the bottom of the range right now. But again, we know that we have a definitive out, all right? So if we decide that we want to break this this resistance level, then I think this pullback can start to take place and we continue to move to the top side. But as of right now, that selling was extremely aggressive, right? So that momentum to the downside can still continue. This might just be a little consolidation phase before the market decides that it wants to take that second leg down. But as of right now, you can see that we held these levels extremely, extremely well. That's a positive sign for somewhat of a rebound here in the markets that have been selling extremely excessively. So let's take a look at some of the mega cap tech stocks here. And with Meta,
wow, it
came all the way down. Yeah, so with the inability to create a new high there, Sharif, consolidation phase, and then boom, that momentum and that volume just stepped in, and sure enough, it sold off like the rest of the market. So help dragging the market down is Meta, NVDA, and AMD, Apple as well too. So the leaders are not leading today. They can't every day. This is the market, and if you're new to the market, you'll come to the realization that unfortunately we just don't go up every day like we have been.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would make things significantly easier, wouldn't it? So,
Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Do you like disruptive technologies, i.e. Uber and all like the things that change?
Like innovative stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, GPS and internet obviously completely disrupted the taxi game. We've seen what Uber.
Yeah.
Remember
that video of the taxi guy in Toronto?
Oh, going after the Uber guy. I guarantee you he's driving an Uber now.
Absolutely.
We'll show you what we mean in a second, but it was a Toronto joke. But anyway, one of the industries I think that's ripe for disrupting, talking about networks. Ram, if you please. Elon, within a few years, SpaceX direct-to-cell capability will improve by more than an order of magnitude due to increased satellite count and improved technology. And he was obviously retweeting or reacting, whatever the hell it is, Starlink's post, which says SpaceX's first launch of 2024 deployed our first set of Starlink sats with direct-to-cell capability to help end cell phone dead zones. That's what's being used for initially. Today, the direct-to-cell constellation is nearly 10 times the size of all other operators pursuing similar capabilities combined. All right, so we all know Rogers, well, let's just speak in American terms over here. Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, I don't know, I think that they're the same company now. Whoever else, you guys have Cricket or whatever down there. They spend huge amounts of CapEx, Joseph, to build out these towers, to build out their infrastructure. We all know there's another, a REIT, a real estate investment trust called American Tower. They own the land or large swaths of land where companies, these telecom companies use to build their towers off. This could be insanely disruptive to them. Imagine, you know, a cell phone that really didn't lose a signal wherever you went. And if they can compete on price, that's key, right? Decidedly changes the game. And then you can say, oh, well, you know, Verizon can throw up their own satellites. AT&T can throw up their own satellites. Really? You want to compete with the rocket company who has the direct way into space? There's no way you outcompete them.
No, I don't think. No, I couldn't agree more with you, Sharif, on that front. So disruptive, absolutely, it can be. And from a landscape here, we don't have as many cell phone providers as the states do, right? So you got Fido, Telus, Bell, and Rogers, and then we got a couple other lower ones, but they all use the same networking and underground infrastructure, right? So one's just using another's cable, paying them whatever royalty they have on that front. So again, I think this can be disruptive, especially you hear on the radios here in Toronto, Sharif. Have you heard that, Adam? Like, do you want more communication services other than just Bell and Rogers?
100%. I think all Canadians want.
Exactly.
They've had it up to here with those too, right?
Well, it's a monopoly.
It is.
Exactly. So it's a monopoly. I think that came in with Pierre. Trudeau. Yeah, exactly. So he signed something along those lines that just allowed these two companies to essentially operate.
Hopefully they can get something done and bring prices down, but you know, I think this is really the vision of the future.
Well, Canada pays amongst a bunch like the highest for cell phone bills. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we pay a lot. I think we pay our highest a lot in a lot of aspects.
We're horrible.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Eddie Hart, I love this. Here we go with the We Love Elon section. Yeah, look, bro, I'm not going to ever lie to you. You know exactly how I feel about that. And so I'm never going to mislead you and tell you that I feel this way about Elon when I actually don't. Big smile. So will Starlink be our new cell phone provider? Just use phone over Wi-Fi service. You can call people for free over apps like IG Center. I know, Big Smile, but if you're out and about doing your job, you know, working with metal, and you're not around a Wi-Fi signal, what are you supposed to do? Just to rely on Wi-Fi? Oh, there he is.
Oh, whoa.
How are you? Randy, I'm so excited to have you back. I wanted to show you this. I'm going to send it to Ram so everybody else can see it as well. But this is Juniper. Hold on. I've got to go over here. This is Juniper, Randy. So there was a video of it in Texas, and now we've got official confirmation that they're testing it near Fairmont as well. And so you won't be able to see. Thank you, Katina, man. I do appreciate that. Always on time.
Obviously, you can see they're covering it. Ram, I'm going to send this to you so you can show it to everybody because it's kind of lame that I'm showing it to Randy and you're not showing it. So here we go. I sent it to you, Ram. Thank you. With the front covered and the back covered, obviously. But why I'm even showing this and why this is important is because they're all coming out at one time, right? All the videos coming out one time, which leads me to believe, I want to get your opinion on this, are we getting closer to the release date? Because they're all starting to make their way onto the road, whereas before we weren't seeing them. There was really nothing.
So they have to.
Ram, you got it? Oh, she's setting it up. There it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
So they've got a prototype test, they've got a crash test, they've got to do road testing, they've got to do quality test, NVH, noise, vibration, harshness. There's a million tests they got to do. Am I good?
I think you're good. Yeah, they would have told you. They would have told you, yeah.
So at some point, they've got to leave the test track, leave the test facility, and put them on the road. Okay, they dress them up to hide the front and rear fascias, but honestly, do you think they're going to look drastically different than the front end and the rear end of the Model 3 or the Highland? No.
No, I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be similar to the what's it called? What was the code name for the Model 3?
Highland.
The Highland, okay, yeah.
So
they're saying interior lighting as well.
Yeah, the yoke steering wheel versus the round one.
Yeah.
These are incremental upgrades. I mean, look at the Model S. How old's the Model S?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's
I'm
almost as
surprised
old as me.
it hasn't been replaced, or the Model X. Like, they've made incremental changes. The screen has been gone from vertical to portrait. The yoke came in. They added the screen in the back, right. For the passengers in the back. They've done some stuff, but agree with you completely. The outside of the body, unless you can tell, what would they have? Version 5 hardware, version 3 hardware. You can tell because the camera slots are a little bit different on those.
And the camera resolution slightly better. These are incremental upgrades. This is not a revolution, it's an evolution of the existing models. And you've got to, most auto manufacturers refresh models every 4 years.
And Tesla doesn't do that.
Right.
They make it a specific point. What are we going on a decade now with no Model S, no Model X revamp?
Yeah, exactly.
We're close.
And the S doesn't sell anywhere near like the Model 3 and Y, which is why they're getting the focus, why they're getting... You can't hear me?
Really? Oh. Ram.
Oh, okay, we're good.
Wow.
So, yeah, I mean, again, this is an evolution. It'll happen at some point. Will we see a whole boatload of them on the road in a month? No. By the end of the year, you'll see a few buzzing around. And
I thought you'd be more ambitious than that. I thought it'd be like Q2, Q3 of 25.
Don't forget where we are.
No, we're not going to see them here. We never see anything first here.
Probably at the end of the year.
Like the Cybertruck.
End of the year.
We started getting deliveries after all 50 states got their deliveries, right? Canada was like that.
It was one of my
51st state, right?
There's one in my town now.
Yeah, oh, really?
My little Whoville. Oh, yeah.
I love Whoville.
Some guy bought
Lives
one.
in the boonies.
The boonies. We like it up there.
All right.
So, like I said, it's just time. Every other manufacturer that has a model that does volume does it every 4 years with a minor styling update or feature update every 2 years. And at the end of 4, they refresh. It's either a major refresh or a completely new design. Tesla doesn't do that. So, whatever.
You heard it here first. Randy.
Yo.
Not excited possibly about the Model X. Did I show you this? I'll show you this off camera, but this is the what's it called? I'll show it you from the side. This is Waymo crashing into a delivery vehicle. You know those things that deliver pizzas? The Waymo smashed into the delivery vehicle. I showed that on the show on Tuesday.
The Waymo crash.
Randy's rants of the midday show.
Oh, yeah,
We love having
Randy's
him on every
rant.
time he comes on, baby.
I heard someone say the Randy run over. You run over with a car, right?
All right, man. All right, guys. I'm not sure what the... What was this hate, guys? What's going on?
There's no hate there.
All right, guys,
baby.
let's have a look back at VSTM and bang. We'll take out that move through 46. Pleased about this one. We've been waiting on this one. VSTM looking a lot better than QSI off that VWAP bounce and pop. It is now at the $0.50, and we know that $0.50 can be an area of psychological resistance. I'm talking about VSTM small cap gapper de jour breaking through that 50 penny area momentarily, but it's this one that's boring me to no end. QS dang guy, we got the fill at the $0.33, but that's as good as we could do, and right back down it goes into that fifth, $0.25. That's where we're long. We're long at that $0.25 for a VWAP hold, and again, it's coming back into it with no continuity.
but it doesn't change my trade. My trade in this one is based off VWAP. So if VWAP holds, it's incumbent upon me to stay into the trade because I got into it for VWAP and I'll get out of it because it gives up VWAP. So we'll pack our patience here on QS and see exactly what's going on over there, Katina man.
It's like, wow.
He wants to show you his shorts. All right, Katina man, there it is. The Katina man has been doing an absolute fight with NVIDIA at these levels. No, you can show his positions there. There we go. He's obviously, Katina man, the top end of that range, what price is that? 140? 136.36. So he's established a range there. And I love it because Katina Man's range trading here. We always see the Katina Man, Dara's clapping. I love it. We always see the Katina Man taking these big moves on the open and on the close of the show. Doesn't mean he can't range trade midday when it is appropriate to do so. So shout out to you, brother. Great trades there. Joseph, what do you got?
What shorts is he wearing? I know. He's short stock. Oh, yeah. I mean, Sharif, I just punched out a TQs here. We came to that bottom of that range. As you can see, I bought the top here, which isn't the best idea. So that's why we just get out of here. If we're selling Katina Man short NVDA, the market is continuing to sell. You don't want to fight the trend. You're not going to try to catch this falling knife, continuously trying to press these longs that aren't working. It's time to join the trend. Are we going to make that second leg down? Only time will tell here, folks. As of right now, it's looking like it's going to be the case, but we have some news with Adara.
Not news, just a quick little update here on the US dollar. We talked a little bit about this bull flag on the daily chart on Tuesday, and now as that come to fruition, look at this breakout today on the DXY on the daily chart. A little bit of economic data today, including a lower than expected initial jobless claims print and a higher than expected S&P PMI print. We also had a construction spending print that was a bit lower than expected as well, so flat on a month-over-month basis compared to an expected increase of 0.3% and a previous increase of 0.4%. So we're almost at 110 here, currently trading around 109.3s on the DXY. But here's the thing we all really want to look at. What are we thinking with regards to rate cuts at the next meeting? Our next FOMC meeting or announcement is going to be on January 29th, 2025. And we have about 88.8% of participants expecting that there will be no cut. That's basically in line with a lot of the talk we were getting at the FOMC meeting, which was a lot more hawkish than we were expecting. Fed speakers that have spoken since that meeting on December 18th have also been a bit hawkish. But here's the interesting thing. If you zoom in here and look at the changes here on a month-over-month and weekly basis, we actually have a bit of a return here in people expecting there could be a cut. So before the last meeting, we had 11.8% of participants expecting the cut. Then this number dropped. Now we're actually seeing 11.2% of participants expecting this cut. Likewise, the amount of people expecting no cut has actually gone, of course, it's gone up. Now it's trying to go down a little bit as well. So we're going to have to wait and see, but it could look like we're seeing a little bit less of a hawkish take now than we were about a week or a month ago. So keep an eye here on this CME FedWatch tool. It's a really great way to gauge sentiment heading into these FOMC rate decisions, especially now that we're potentially in a bit of a cutting cycle. Let's see if that cutting cycle continues on January 29th. Back to you.
I'll go. Great look there. Guys, I want to show you guys the strength of the amazing USD to CAD. And I'm obviously saying that very sarcastically. Guys, we are almost at pandemic dang highs. This is what happened in February and March of 2020. We all remember that. We got to 146. Guys, we are knocking on the door of 145. Holy cow. I mean, our dollar could be very soon worth half.
Yeah. That's a tough look.
Yeah, it is a tough look, dude. And it's
really
just like, I don't even want to
dude.
visit my sister anymore.
No, the conversion rate isn't.
No, you get creamed on that.
Yeah, well.
So the USD and the CAD, obviously, killing. We're getting killed over here now. Obviously, for exports, Canadian exports, this is fantastic, right? Because other companies, or the countries, buying with stronger currency can buy your products for cheaper. So it does good for exporters. But if you're importing anything, and I'll submit to you, we import the majority of our food in the winter from the States, it's a bit of a tougher look. It's going to cause food inflation, despite the fact that there's no actual food inflation. It's currency inflation affecting food.
Joseph, but we got to pay a bill.
Hey, pay some bills, guys. E-Signal. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Foresee profitable opportunities with the platform you need. Infinite data, instant trading. Know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Charts that change the game. Customize and analyze markets faster, your way. Better backtesting and scanning. Predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data, up-to-the-second market info from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need, all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description, folks. E-Signal. E-Signal, E-Signal. Beautiful stuff there.
I was the 51st state comments after.
No. Yeah, well, hey, man, at this point, we'll take it. But speaking of global markets, Shreve,
yes, sir.
We were talking about currency. So what do? I type into Copilot, and I want to know the top 15 strongest currencies. We are sitting at 11th, which isn't horrible, but the top being the Kuwaiti dinar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Middle East, they have obviously
they have all the oil,
resources to back up their currency, whereas ours is not backed up by anything.
No, but well, again, we mentioned this before too. As the Bank of Canada continues to cut interest rates, that's going to weaken the Canadian dollar as well too.
Because think about it, right? You're cutting rates. Why? Because you're showing a weakening economy.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you're not cutting rates. That's number one. Number two, money that was hanging out in Canadian bank accounts no longer wants to hang out there because it's not paying a coupon worth paying. They're going to hang out where the coupon is, and that's down south.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because the rates are still higher there. So, it's just that's the way it is, and take it or leave it kind of situation. All right, guys, VST, I'm breaking through the $50 here, and let's see how many outs we have left on this monster. We only got one more, so I've got to be quite choosy with where I get out. I'm going to let this one cook. We only have about 28 minutes left on the show. I'd like to see if this one is able to get about that $50 area. I'm talking about VSTM. Doing the dance right now with that $50 QSI. It was displeasing me. Now I'm okay with it a little bit because it's bouncing off VWAP for the umpteenth time, and by extension of that 3 1/5 area. Let's see if it's able to get up into that 3 1/3. That's where I'm waiting, holding a bit of a bigger position on this one. So let's wait possibly above that 40 penny area if this one really squeezes. I'm talking about QSI up 22.5%, a quantum name. Quantum has been in vogue, hence why this one is up. It's got no specific catalyst for it himself. I see you there, West y'all. Nitto coming down, absolutely coming down. We're going to get to the Katina Man's trade in a hot second, but NITO, this one finally, West y'all, breaching the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 for the first time since 12:05 today. Since 11:50. So that's the last time we were actually printing below and printing lower lows and lower highs now. Let's see what it does at that buck, right? It's an entirely different trade north and south of $1. So I'd like to see if, number one, breaches a 20 on a closing basis. And if it does it move up into that dollar? I should tell you that VWAPs are around 86 pennies. So there's that dollar, but there is also that 86 penny area. So keep your eye out on that. I'm going to continue to keep my eye on QSI. Rigetti. Okay, I see you, Rigetti. Rigetti is in a holding pattern at the moment, but a respectable holding pattern because it keeps holding off VWAP. It's putting in lower highs. So that should be concerning, especially if you're looking from this candle over here at 1245 onwards, every successive high lower than its predecessor. But we've also got on the other side of the coin higher lows if you're basing it again off that 1 p.m. candle. So a bit of a compression pattern, but the trend that preceded the compression was a downward move. So the textbooks say the likelihood of this one resolving to the downside are higher than it resolving to the upside. That is because the trend that preceded it was down. We're talking about a compression pattern, kind of like a bear penning above VWAP though. So a bit of a conflicting look there. So that's all I'm looking at right now. VSTM, QSI, those are the only two trades I've got on. I'm interested in NITO if it does pop right back into that level. Ron Campbell. Canada becomes a state. I may move there for a cooler weather and fish and hunting. We got that in spades, baby, but we ain't going to become the 51st state, I can promise you that. What we can entertain is some sort of economic union, and I mentioned this on Tuesday before we went, we had New Year's. Kevin O'Leary talking about visiting Mar-a-Lago to speak with the Orange Man about exactly that. Whether or not he has any binding power, he's still got to come speak to the future PM here. It's not going to be the current PM that we have. He's on the way out. And it's going to be a new government probably in the spring, at latest in the fall. That's the situation we have in Canada. But O'Leary's obviously, he doesn't have any power to bind Canada. But there could be something afoot. Who knows?
I was going to ask you this, and maybe you'll be able to touch a little more light on it than I'll be able to. So Canada had like substantial population growth over the past couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
How come that hasn't been reflected in the GDP?
It has. It boosted. If we didn't have those people come in, you can bet your bottom dollar we would have been in negative GDP.
Okay, so back
That's
to back.
the only reason we even maintained balance,
that makes sense.
Joseph.
Yeah.
And that was a strategic move on their part. Instead of actually allowing growth internally by increasing productivity, they chose to bring in more people from outside to kind of counteract that. That ain't the move, bro.
No. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I was curious because.
So I get a little passionate about this.
No, absolutely. But that's a great question, and rightfully so. You should, because we live here. We've lived the majority of our lives here. I know you were in the UK for a little while, and I realized that's why you like Jaguar.
Hey, and I like Arsenal.
Yeah, and you like
Arsenal. I watch the EPL.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's only my stint in England.
Yeah, no, I was curious on that, but I thought it would reflect more just due to the population growth that we've had over. Because again, we've been population growth outpacing the growth in the housing market, etc. So again, that's why we had a lot of inflation here as well, too, folks. So yeah, I was just curious. I'm glad you touched on that.
Yeah, no, that's a great question because it's something that was obviously an issue, and they had that in their mind. That's why they executed the way they executed.
Yeah, good look there. But yeah, Sharif, man, again, we popped in some TQs here, folks. Again, we're just holding these levels. So I'm curious if we're going to get that pop, or it's that second leg to the downside, right? So as of right now, it's looking like that might be the case, that we're going to continue to move to the downside. We have these lower highs, which is slightly alarming. I said I wasn't going to go for another stab, but we had, as soon as I punched out, sure enough, it decides that it wants to bounce again. So we're really, really holding the 77 level here on the TQs and the overall market. So I'm really curious to see if these mega caps decide that they want to turn around. NVDA is starting to trade at the top of the range, as well as Meta and as well as the SPY too, folks. So did we get stopped out? Yeah, I think we got stopped out on our SPY trade. So that's unfortunate. But guys, 3 in a row. But hey, it is what it is. But let's see what's going to happen here. Is that selling done? Has that momentum waved out to the downside? And are we going to slowly just have somewhat of a cover rally here in the overall markets? That's what I'm looking to participate in here. And sure enough, we are heading back into those resistance zones. So we need to assess the situation. Are we going to head back within the range? Or is that volume starting to step in on the lower time frames, giving us that ability to break through those key resistance levels and then potentially pull back a little deeper than what we're expecting and recover some of that of these losses that we had in that sell-off earlier, all right? So QQQ hammer on in the 15. Let's take a look. I like that idea. Hammer on the 15 at the lows. Let's take a gander at that. And multiple of them, guys. So as you can see, we decided the sellers push price down, but then buyers are just continuing to push it back up, forming these hammer candles at extreme lows. Let's see. That's a positive signal for us. There's no doubt about that. So we'll continue to monitor. If we break these, then that's going to be really positive for this trade. Other than that, we just have to keep those risk measures in place. If we break it to the downside, we're at a dodge, and then we reassess the situation. A couple stabs at it, it's not working. We're about 2 for 2 on this thesis. So again, we're 2 for 1 actually. But again, so let's see what happens. Being really patient, that volume is starting to step in. We are forming lower highs, slightly alarming, but I do like the buying pressure at these levels here, Sharif.
Absolutely. Fierce and fiery. Love that name. And shout out to LVB. I'm going to get to OCC in 1 second. But LVB, I was asking me earlier, Joseph, did you guys say earlier that during the show you don't do options, just equity trading? And I agreed. I said, we're supposed to get access hopefully soon to 0 days to expiry options, 0 DTE, but We haven't quite yet. When we do, obviously, we'll be doing it. But Joseph does an options lesson twice a week, and he did one today. The beautiful thing about YouTube is you can rewind right to the beginning of the show. Joseph, Tuesday and Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday, excuse me. Tuesday and Thursday doing options lessons. So if you're into that options life, you know exactly what the schedule is and when to look out for that. LVB goes on to say, even during the morning show, are Sean and Neil doing options trading or equity? Only equity for now. Again, Real Trading, which is our prop firm, gonna be getting 0 days to expiry options, but we don't have an ETA on that yet, but it is coming. And so we will let you know.
That'll be a lot of fun trading those 0 DTE, but we know that they can get extremely volatile, folks. So again, if you're new to options trading, don't start messing around with the 0 DTE. It can get ugly, even though they're a defined risk, right? So you can only lose the premium that you pay for them, but you can lose it faster than that.
All right, guys. I see you, Amr QSI going. I know I'm waiting. I just got the print at 35s. Now I'm waiting at 42. So QS dang I going. The spiled one. Sharif, the Katina man trading 0 DTE in the afternoon or Qs or SPY, he gonna clean up. He cleaning up anyway, bro. You know that. He's printing up storms on that, you know what? So shout out to the Katina man. He's not at his desk right now, but yeah, totally can see that happening, baby. All right, what else we got over here? I see you guys. By the way, guys, I got to tell you, over the past few days, the engagement has been fantastic in the chat, man. We've been seeing people that we never see commenting, and you know, obviously, we're going to expand the subject matter of things that we talk about, but I'm absolutely loving the engagement. I was talking to Chilean Nightmare on Tuesday about engagement. Looks like it was up as well, so really happy about that. And, you know, that's the beautiful thing about this whole thing during the 3-hour midday show is things a little bit more chill. We can talk about some things that the big boys can't really cover because there's really no time on the morning show because everything's kind of in flux and people are trading and it's very serious. So throw whatever comments you guys have in the chat. You'd be surprised the subject matter that people are willing to engage in here, and we could not be more happier. So love you guys and do appreciate all the participation.
A lot of new names today.
A lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Seeing a lot of new names, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
And a case in point here, Roving One. Never seen that name before. Been on the show over 2.5 years.
Many. Yeah, exactly.
What is he saying? This is all fun until volatility explodes. Be careful. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You make sure you are using sound risk management so that you can have an account with which to trade. Otherwise, you know, you're just not gonna. So that's a look there. All right, let's take, VSTM, I don't have any more outs except one, so I will wait until this $0.50 breaks, but VSTM right back into that 6.5 area. QSI as well, did work in the 40s, kind of coming back into mid-30s. I'm waiting at 42s on QSI. The high of the day is 60, so we'll see if this one wants to run up. I've got a few more outs here on QSI. Rogelio Concepcion saying RVSN. Another one we've been talking about multiple times here on the How to Trade during the midday show. Let's load it up. RVSN. Let's see what the situation is with this bad boy. Big move for it today. This is the weekly. Let's flip to the 5. Yeah, okay. It's had an okay day. It's up 8%. It's off VWAP. It's very range bound. Rogelio, I'd be honest with you, I'd be looking at 2 1/3 rejection because that's what it's done all day. Moving into that 2 1/3, 235 area, and then drops back down, breaches VWAP maybe into that 215s, 220s. No breakout trade for me. I'll keep an eye out on that one. What else we got, you guys in the chat? Escape Planet. Sharif, I've been paying attention to your rules. Can you explain more regarding the definable pre-market high rule? Maybe an example. Fantastic question. So what I mean to say by that is if it was not trading in the pre-market in the way that, you know, you would expect a small cap gapper to trade, which is quite volatile, right? Then you've got, let me see if I can pull up something here rather than trying to wax poetic about it. VSTM is taking out highs, local highs, by the way. Let's see if VSTM was trading in the pre. Okay, this is exactly it. VSTM was doing bupkis in the pre. Look at how sparsely traded the pre-market is. This is 4 a.m. and then this over here is 9:30. That's the opening bell. VSTM has no definable pre-market high. I would not categorize VSTM as having a definable pre-market high. Let's look at, though, at some others. I think SPCB did. No, this one didn't either. Let me keep looking. I think Rigetti was probably 3. Let me keep looking here. Nitto, maybe? Nitto? Yes, there we go. Nitto's got one. All right. So look at this. Nitto's doing volume, right? These candles over here, starting at 8:10, you had 3.5 million on this candle. These are 5-minute candles, by the way. This one had 2.1 million shares. This one had 6 1/3. These are all every 5 minutes. So this had a definable pre-market high. That definable pre-market high on NITO, 55 pennies. But look what it did right there at 9:55. It took that pre-market high. That would have been my cue. All right, now it's above that pre-market high, above 55 pennies. NITO, I can get in. So if it has a definable pre-market high, it has to be trading above there. If it didn't have a definable pre-market high because it was doing bupkis volume in the pre, then that rule is kind of foregone. You have to be looking above the volume weighted average price. That's it. And that makes sense, right? Because if a new stock, a new small cap gapper shows up on my scanner at 11:30, by definition, it wasn't trading in the pre-market. It got its volume midday. So you can't have that rule for something that wasn't trading in the pre. But if it did have volume like this one did, I just showed you, 7 million shares on this 8:35 candle, this was obviously trading in the pre, then I would only be interested in it after the bell if it was above that 55 penny area, because that is the pre-market high. I hope that helps. All right, AR31, Sharif, Joe, AVI from France. Bonsoir, monsieur. Parlez-vous en français? Oui, on peut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because, this is Canada, bro. It's a dual language, my boy. Yeah, it's a dual language. Hey, I'm not the one whose last name is LePage, though. Let me just tell you that. Bang. Edited, Dara.
Bang.
All right, so, yes, we speak a little bit French, but we speak Québécois, right? It's not like, that Parisian French. We got that... I don't know, you guys don't speak well about Québécois. Anytime I speak to like a person from France or any other, like even African countries that speak French, they're like, what is this?
What is this French
concoction you guys got going on here? It's like half English, half French, right?
English, yeah, well.
And so, yeah, it's not really well talked about.
Yeah, well, grade 9 was the end of my French. I'll tell you that real quick.
Yeah. Everybody's putting up their hand. Who was that hitting the bags? Was that you, Ram?
Yeah, everybody was done in grade 9.
That was you. That was Neil. Neil's like, he did not, because the way it is.
Neil was done in grade 9 too, eh?
Right, yeah.
Is that
did you have to take it from grade 4 onwards?
Yeah,
so grade 4 to 9.
Grade 9, boom, done, out, see ya.
I started at grade 4.
I know significantly more Spanish than I do French, unfortunately, and excuse my ignorance, to be honest.
That's okay. Yeah. Whatever, bro. What's wrong with French? Oh, what's wrong with Spanish?
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Exactly.
But Sharif, one thing I want to touch on here real quick is someone who love basketball. Okay. All right, he's like, is this entertainment guessing on trades, or what's the strategy? Well, what you got to understand is that there is no one strategy. Sharif's been doing this since the pandemic, right? I've been doing this just a little after the pandemic. Sean trades different. Neil trades different. There is no one specific strategy. This is what we have come up with over years and years of trading. Sean and Neil, especially more. They've been doing this for a long time. And their styles of trading are not exactly the same. Is there similarities? Absolutely. But there's no one specific strategy. Just keep that in mind. You need to build your own strategy. From a pattern recognition standpoint, you need to sit in front of these screens day after day, month after month, year after year to define your strategy. There is no one specific strategy, all right? So just keep that in mind. So hopefully that helped answer your question. Yeah, Adam DeLuz, Spanish is a good one. I'm always there. I'm always over there in Mexico and DR, so I'm just trying to learn a little bit more. I don't have anymore.
I love these comments.
Yeah, a lot of, and you mentioned this before. There's so many new names in the chat today. Maybe it's because of the new year, people are getting into trading than what we usually see. But guys, continue to participate, especially if you're new. Ask those questions, because the chances are, if you have that question to ask, there's a dozen or multiple other people who have the exact same question as you. So not only are you doing yourself a disservice by not asking, you're also doing other people one as well too.
Go.
So just, yeah, exactly. So just keep that in mind there, folks. What I was looking at here is the Qs. We are still trading in this consolidation range, Sharif.
Okay.
That momentum to the downside was extremely strong, so I don't know if we're going to get those buyers to step in today. As of right now, even though we are holding the bottom of that range, it doesn't look like that buy program wants to step in just yet. I think that we will really be able to definitively tell if we want to recover those losses from earlier is that we're going to break those key resistance levels around 508, and then that momentum and volume is going to step in where we can get that push towards the volume-weighted average price, all right? I always talk about elasticity in the volume-weighted average price as well too, folks. So as you can see, it was broken multiple times, especially with that momentum to the downside and the volume supporting that. So you guys know that I'm really keen on volume and price analysis. The correlation is extremely important in my style of trading. So hopefully you have the ability to adapt that as well too, and that can help you kind of assess the situation and say, are we ready to turn around, or are we going to continue in the exact same aspect? Juan Wick, let's go, my guy. This show was legit. Respect.
You saw that? Look at this guy, bro. He's kind.
Dang, you know what I mean? Exactly.
Appreciate
Respect to you. No, thank you, Juan.
Yeah,
I see you in the chat all the time as well too. And the regulars that we have, Hal R, we have Darwin, we have Kyle, we have Pretty Panda, we have Havana and Nick W. All those people that are consistently in the John, especially Jay Lee, just and you know what? Great community, great people. You guys can talk amongst yourselves as well too, and ask yourselves questions. Talk about what's going on in the overall market, because that's what we do here every day on a day-to-day basis, guys. So it's
your boy?
What do you say?
Max got married.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yeah.
That's not. Oh,
Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast. These guys were serious. These guys were thought you were serious. Yeah.
Where's the Lambo? Can we get the Lambo?
Get the Lambo.
Listen, man, around here,
hey,
bro.
did you see the? I guess I know you don't watch too much. You don't watch too much TV, but the Mr. Beast games.
Oh, you heard the one he had in Toronto? Somebody got hurt.
Oh,
he's getting sued.
Oh yeah.
You know Downsview, that huge airport, Downsview.
Is that
Airport?
when they did the?
That's where they did the
Mr.
Beast games. I don't know. I didn't see because I don't watch the show, but
lost the eye, right?
Yeah,
the Mr. Beast. No, not the one in Toronto. No, Mr. Beast games is different. Like not the one in Toronto. Mr. Beast games is an actual. Yeah, on Amazon. Yeah, so this is totally.
Okay.
Yo, this guy is talk about revolutionary. This kid is a genius.
Oh God, yeah.
Absolutely. He's an absolute
next level.
Yeah, he's an absolute genius in what he does, man. He's fantastic, and it's so entertaining. Like a $5 million cash prize. I don't think we've ever seen that in any type of game. So
no, did you see the latest one he's got? So he's got two pilots. Yeah. They're both certified pilots. He bought two different jets, both jets, not airplanes, like actual jets. Like private jets, right? With turbine engines, right? And he put them, he's like, you can spend 100 days. If you spend 100 days inside the airplane, you keep the airplane. Now, you can have the option of flying the airplane to different areas, but you got to be inside it, or you can just stay on the tarmac for 100 days. The point is, though, if you last 100 days, you keep the airplane. You know what he does, too? All the money he makes from the videos that YouTube pays him, he throws it right back into the show, right?
Dude, this guy built the whole in the Mr. Beast games, this guy built the whole community.
Oh yeah,
and he's done it before. Like the kid is a genius, man.
Let's see what people are saying here in the chat. We don't have much time left. Joe, Sharif thought Mr. Beast got in trouble. Okay, yeah, no, he didn't. He has nothing to do with the diddler. Adam DeLuce, someone saw Mr. Beast in a drive-thru and bought his coffee. He then went on to buy everyone's order for the rest of the day. That is nice, man. I like that. Yeah. That's respectful. Shout out to Mr. Beast.
A philanthropist.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, he's doing things. All right, guys, we got the beak wetter there on QSI at 42s. I've still got a couple of more outs on this one, so I'm going to layer another order over here. We're going to sit in front of 350. So we're going to sit at 49s. What's life without whimsy? We're going to sit there at 49, see if this one can curl back up. I'm keeping an eye on VSTM, though. This one is coming back down. I've got a lot of room for my entry and where the price here on VSTM is. But if I get up and, this one's not above that 660 area, I should have been taking it out at around 660. But we were having a good time, and I didn't have a profit taker. So I'm going to let this one cook, or we're going to take out, I'm going to put a trailing stop below that 635 area. That'll be my line in the sand, Joseph. But it is now 2 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. It's a quick 2 today. And we're going to have to send you, obviously, to the big kahunas who are right next to us. Joseph and I will see you guys tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Boys, take it over.
Adios.
We were just,
All right, welcome.
We were just talking about the Squid Games there.
Yeah, Sean was telling me about
Mr. Beast
No,
games,
the
sorry.
Beast games.
Yeah. I just
I haven't seen it. I got to find the